Hi! Hi, Vidal. Hi, Christmas Suit. Hi, Colbert. Hi, Mustang. How are you guys? Mustang, thank you
I
so
should
much
probably
for
unmute
gifting.
myself.
That would be helpful. Guys, hello.
I mean, it could be.
And welcome in the one, the only, the Miss Tarawa VT. Although,
I mean, you don't have to, but hello.
the gifted sub made me realize I don't think I have my alert box up on this one. Hi, Sly.
You're gonna have to actually pay attention.
Oh no, I'm just gonna go steal that from another thing. Please.
Who is this imposter?
Let's put that in that corner.
She's gone.
There we go. I'm saying you just finished playing Destiny 2 with family. Oh, how fun. But you got hate mail. Oh no.
Interesting.
Well, hopefully it was all good fun though on your end. I know, and there was a mini Wawa. Do you want to see it? It's Wawaception.
What am I doing?
They're multiplying. They're multiplying.
I know.
Yeah, I said this.
I didn't know you had an Adawawa redeem.
Ah, shit, I should.
I thought that was only me.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I have an Adawawa stream even when we're not collabing together.
The best use of channel points.
What was I just gonna say? Yeah, I set up this cute little parlor scene so that we could have a nice little place to chat, because today is book club day. I'm so excited for it.
Finally.
I know, finally.
It only took, what, 3 months or so?
Yeah, listen, I had a lot come up over the time because I finished it a while ago.
Just maybe.
I finished it a while ago.
I finished it last week.
I know, you blasted through it. Yeah, actually, part of my
I do
review.
that with my books.
Yeah, part of my review will be why it took so long on it. But that'll have to wait until we get into it. Hell yeah, books are awesome. They really are. I really, really love reading. It's partially why my whole shtick was a space librarian. I was like, how do I incorporate
I thought
the
it's because
books?
they were paid so well.
My salary of $0 as a space librarian.
Yes. Yeah. Just like a regular librarian.
Stop. The accuracy hurts.
I know. I feel bad.
I really do too. I actually have a couple friends who are real life IRL Earth librarians. And it's sad that they have so much heart and so much love for what they do, and it's just like not reciprocated by the people they work for.
Yeah, I had one who was, but she got out of it during COVID times because she had to.
Because she got out of it.
So,
you made it sound like prison.
yeah. I mean... Hello, Silver Wolf.
Yeah, hi, Silver Wolf. How are you doing? Yeah, so we're here tonight talking about this book because I have a channel point redeem that is Book of the Month, or Book of the 3 months, and Asian Voodoo redeemed
Book of the Quarter.
Book of the Quarter, yeah. And Asian Voodoo, a lovely viewer, redeemed that channel point redeem and picked Eisenhorn. So he redeemed actually the entire Eisenhorn trilogy, and I was like, that's really cute, but I'm gonna read the first one.
Yeah, that's a bit much.
Right, I was like, damn, son. Like
it's like, I don't even know if I like these, and you want me to read 3 of them?
Yeah, right? Because I was like, I've never embarked into anything on the Eisenhorn, on the Warhammer 40k universe. And I was like, damn, dog, that's a lot to ask of me. It's a redeem for one book.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, Eric, and hi,
Give an
Andy.
inch, take a trilogy.
Right. And I was like, you can't sneak a trilogy in there just because it's an omnibus. It doesn't work like that.
No.
But so I, through hell and hellfire, finished this book, and I can very confidently say I fucking loved it. It was incredible. And not the sigh. And I was like, well, I really want to talk about this book and I can't wait to talk about it. And so I ran over to Tara and I was like, Tara, you like Warhammer? Want to do this with me? And so Tara, in all her benevolence, read the book as well and didn't like
Slammed
it.
it out.
Yeah, slammed it out, didn't like it, and is here to tear me to shreds.
Yeah, and to be honest, I had to slam it out 1.5 times because I tried listening to it on my way out to Cleveland for the eclipse, and I had to turn it off about halfway through because I was going to fall asleep.
Damn! That bad?
This book almost killed me.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh. Hi, Poogie, and hi, Tia.
But I mean, the first half of it is very slow, as we'll talk about.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we gotta fight. That's what I like to see. Oh, it's gonna be so fun because we do have very, very different opinions on this book, and I think that's gonna make for a very, very fun conversation.
It'd be so much better than just, oh, I love it too.
Right. Yeah, so I think to get started, for people who haven't read this book, or if you have read it and maybe it's been a while, or whatever, we're gonna go through just like a super quick synopsis of it.
You want me to read the cover description?
Sure.
Okay, let me pull that up. I know it's on the wiki. Okay, here we go. The Inquisition moves amongst mankind like an avenging shadow, striking down the enemies of humanity with uncompromising ruthlessness. When he finally corners an old foe, Inquisitor Gregor Eisenhorn is drawn into a sinister conspiracy. As events unfold and he gathers allies and enemies, Eisenhorn faces a vast interstellar cabal with the dark power of daemons.
Beautiful.
All seem to recover an arcane text of abominable power, an ancient tome known as the Necrotuk.
Damn. Also, real quick, welcome in, Raiders! Hi, Waddles. Thank you so much for the raid. And Misfit, thank you so much for the resub. Welcome in, everyone. I hope you guys had a wonderful time at Waddles' stream. I was actually there lurking the whole time. And by lurking, I mean I was taking a nap and I was listening in the background.
Well, I was at least conscious.
Wait, yeah. It's so funny. I'm surprised it actually didn't raid me over from your stream into my own stream. And hi, Brilliance and Beanie and McJank. Hi, everyone. So you guys missed the intro, but tonight is book club stream. We are going to be talking about the Eisenhorn trilogy from Warhammer 40k, starting with the first book, Xenos. And Wawa just read the description of the book and made me realize I think I left my book in the living room. So I'm gonna go grab that real quick. I'll be right back.
Oh boy. You're gonna leave chat with me. Oh boy. Oh, uh-oh. She's malfunctioning. Oh god. What's happening? And hello, Waddles. Your roommate seems to be having some issues. Yes, menacingly snapping her neck. Yeah, it doesn't like that. Aw. I guess I shouldn't have talked about it.
I forgot to unmute myself on stream. LOL.
Oh, jeez. Oops.
You can't spell VTuber without scoff.
Wow.
Oh, Poogie, don't worry. We're going to get into our thoughts and opinions very soon.
Yeah, we'll get into it.
Just you wait. Yeah, because when you were reading out the cover description, it reminded me. So when I very first started reading this book, the very first thing that I turned to was on page 11, but it's actually right after the table of contents. It was that great description, which I think is kind of in a lot of the 40K books. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, because I've been doing the audiobooks, but is it the whole bit about how in the far, far future there is only a war? Are we talking about that one?
No, not that one. Or is it that one? Oh yeah,
Okay.
kinda. I'll read it out loud because I think it is really fabulous. And when I first read that, I was like, oh my god, this book is gonna be incredible. And then I was smacked in the face with like 7 chapters of the most boring drudgery I've ever read.
Yeah, so... God, I don't even know where to start, but I know where to start at the same time.
Yeah, wait, let me read this out real
so-
quick. Let me read this out real quick, because guys, this is what you are greeted with when you first start this book, and this is what set the tone for me. For more than 100 centuries, the Emperor has sat immobile on the golden throne of Earth. He is the master of mankind. By the might of his inexhaustible armies, 1,000,000 worlds stand against the dark. Yet, he is a rotting carcass, the carrion lord of the Imperium, held in life by marbles from the dark age of technology, and the 1,000 souls sacrificed each day so that his may continue to burn. To be a man in such times is to be one amongst untold billions. It is to live in the cruelest and most bloody regime imaginable. It is to suffer an eternity of carnage and slaughter. It is to have cries of anguish and sorrow drowned by the thirsting laughter of dark gods. This is a dark and terrible era where you will find little comfort or hope. Forget the power of technology and science. Forget the promise of progress and advancement. Forget any notion of common humanity or compassion. There is no peace amongst the stars, for in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. Bum, bum, bum.
All thanks to that corpse emperor.
Yes. So I read that and I was like, holy shit, I'm buckled up. I'm ready. This is going to be incredible. Yeah.
Did you have a chance to watch that 2-minute video I sent you?
I did.
From that short?
Did. It was so cool.
Yeah, and that's just like 2 minutes of that 30-minute little bit. But I was like, this guy needs a name. He is the most badass character without a name I've ever seen.
Yeah. Gosh, yeah. And so I guess let's get into the synopsis of the book, and I'll try to keep the summary as unbiased as I can. But like I said, the first bit of this book was kind of rough to get through, and so we're kind of gonna gloss through a lot of that. Alexis, thank you so much for the follow.
The very, very beginning was interesting, but then it became uninteresting very quickly.
Yeah, so what happened is, so the book started, and you're immediately introduced to the star of our show, Gregor Eisenhorn, and I love the way he introduced himself. It was so fucking funny. And I was immediately laughing, because he was like, yeah, he was like, they sent me to this place that's locally regarded as the back end of all creation. And he's like, but even then, at the dawn of my career, I was treated with a mixture of fear and suspicion. The rosette, the title Inquisitor, a combination of both, fairly focused in the minds of those who met me. This attitude bores me these days. But back then, it gave me some sort of vulgar sensation of power. Like, what a man. And
So,
yeah.
I had a thought. If Gregor Eisenhorn was alive today, and he had a dating profile, 2 of the pictures on there, one would be him with some mall ninja shit, like with a trench coat and a samurai sword. And the other one is going to be him holding a goddamn fish.
I was gonna say he would be holding a fish. But see, the thing is that
Yeah.
I think if he did live in today's society, he would be the like gym bro equivalent of that, though. You know what I mean? But
So he's just going to be Andrew Tate. Got it.
Stop. Where did it go? Here we go. So this is Eisenhorn, the man, the myth, the legend. Look at him. Look at that beautiful.
But that is not Eisenhorn. We just discussed this. Like, he talks about, the first thing he talks about is like his long black hair. And I said, this is Duke Nukem.
This picture, I think, is actually from the 2nd or 3rd book. So who knows? Maybe he cut his hair.
Okay.
But I just
cuts
thought
his hair and gets a dye job. Very progressive of him.
I just thought this was the perfect Eisenhorn picture because it's just the man of sex. Him. But so he starts his adventure in this book by going to this like random back end country world, because like the scale, I keep having to get used to the scale that the story is being told in, which is, you know, I guess the scale of all of Warhammer, right? Like spanning galaxies all over the universe. But so he goes to this backwater planet where we're kind of thrown into this interesting mystery situation, and this is where I was hooked. I was like, oh, this is great. And we were, you know, doing this cute little murder mystery where people were dying all over the place, and everyone was like, oh my god, it's a serial killer. And Eisenhorn was like, but was it? And then like, it was very fun reading that part, and then it culminated actually in magic, and I was gobsmacked. I did not see that coming. I didn't know there was anything like that in the Warhammer 40k universe, and so
did not know of the warp.
No, I didn't know. So in this town, there's this like bridge over water that gets raised and lowered a lot, and there was some kind of like galactic storm going on, and when the bridge raised or lowered into a very specific position, it opened the warp. The warp. And allowed some orcs to pass through. And the orcs were actually the ones who were killing everyone in this small town. And there was this like big fight between Eisenhorn and I think 2 orcs, was it, who came through the warp. And it was this like, you know, crazy, you know, shootout Eisenhorn v orc. And it was so dramatic and silly. It was like I was down to like my last bullet in my chamber. The orc was still fighting against me, but then, you know, I took him out and it was beautiful. And yeah, and I thought that, I was like, oh, so this is gonna be a progression of Eisenhorn doing like cute little mystery-esque things. No. Because after that, the book immediately got really boring. And after that, that's actually the part that took me so long to get through, was after that first little murder mystery session. It just got, I don't even really know how to describe it because, like, the synopsis of what happens during that time sounds interesting, but it just was so boring to read through. And I like would read a page and then just like be like, oh, is there anything else I can do?
Yeah.
I
mean, that little shootout they had on that platform after chasing iClone around forever.
Yeah.
That was cool and everything.
That was cool.
But then they were like lamenting the death of the one girl.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
which
yeah.
They got over in like 2 pages.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Like you just had some brooding and it was done with, and they immediately pick up.
Yeah. So,
like, this is just lazy writing. They grab the pleasure girl who happens to be. She has no psychic imprint. She's special.
She's not like other girls.
She needs a new life.
Okay.
And it's just like, oh, come on. Are you serious?
Oh, it was so funny. So, yeah. So after that little murder mystery part, Eisenhorn actually picks up the trail of this dude named iClone. iClone, I think it was. Yeah. And iClone. And apparently this is like some known baddie that he's been like low-key chasing for a while. And they go to another
6 years.
Yeah. And they go to another like hodunk little planet, but this planet is one where they have these crazy long seasons, and a lot of the populace was like cryo preserved, and this guy named iClone took over one of these like big freezers essentially and was using all of its power to power something. And there was this once again a very fun shootout moment between Eisenhorn's crew and iClone. And my favorite part about all of these shootouts is how it's all told from Eisenhorn's POV, right? Like, he's the narrator of this, and he's always making it so dramatic. He's like, it always comes down to being just him against the enemy. All of his teammates are useless on the floor. Will they make it? Who knows? Eisenhorn's here with his ripped and bloodied shirt. Somehow makes it through, kills everyone. Yeah, and in that part, you like find out that iClone is actually part of a much bigger scheme, and our our incredible Inquisitor Eisenhorn is like, oh, well, we have to figure out what's really going on here, and it launches into a bigger mystery. But while they're on this planet, like Wawa said, they ran into this girl named. So I think her name is pronounced Bequin?
Yeah, Bequin.
Bequin, yeah. And it's so
Elizabeth
fucking funny.
Bequin.
Yeah, it's so funny how Eisenhorn describes her. He like hates her. He's like, this beautiful, alluring woman who I can't stand the presence of. This harlot.
But I can't look away from because she's so hot. But I want nothing to do with her.
It reminded me so much of the Hunchback of Notre Dame when what's his face? Yeah, Judge Frollo, exactly. When it's like when he's like, she will lead me to sin, but I need her. And so it turns out that she's actually one of the very rare versions of a human who has like no psychic imprint. And he's like, yes, this is why I don't like her. This is why I don't like her. It's the psychic void she creates, not the fact that she makes me sexually uncomfortable.
Yeah, because Eisenhorn could never. He's unflusterable.
He's unflusterable. Yeah, I don't know if they use the word annul for her, but she had a special word for what she was.
Yeah. I forget what it was too. But yeah, there's some specific word that they use.
Yeah.
But it's not just her, but around her too goes void.
Yeah, she creates this kind of like blank psychic space around her very conveniently. Very Deus Ex Machina-ly.
Safe space.
Yeah. But so, a blank? Yeah, it's something like that. And so they pick her up and essentially just like throw her in the storage vault, and they're like, come with us. And
no, they try to make it seem like a choice. They ruined her life, and they're like, oh, but you can come with us if you want.
Yeah.
Like, we just destroyed everything you worked for, but...
It's like, hey, we destroyed your life, actually upturned your entire perspective on your own life, but like, hey, it'd be chill if you came with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the way...
Now, after her, though, they do meet an interesting character.
Oh.
Actually, my favorite character in the book.
Midas?
Fishig.
Oh, Fishig! Bro, I loved Fishig! Fishig was so cool.
He is Han Solo of this story.
Fishig!
He has done so much and has so much that I want to hear about.
So I think
when I did the audiobook of this, and this has the same narrator as the Horus Heresy series, and he does the same voice for Fishig that he does for my favorite character in the Horus Heresy series, Malagurst. So I'm like, this is perfect.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, this is the official art of Fishig from the Warhammer wiki, and I feel like this just like doesn't do him justice. Like, Fishig is so cool.
This is also much later on, I think.
Yeah, it's when he's a lot older after he loses an arm and half his face.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Fishig is oh gosh, what's his title? He's really cool. Arbitus, something like that, yeah. And he joins the crew. Yeah. He is just so cool.
Beckwin is an untouchable. That's the word.
Untouchable. That's it. Yeah. Oh, also I should show you. So this is Beckwin. Again, a much later version of Beckwin. And I will explain what goes on with this version of Beckwin. But she is pretty. And Spud, thank you for the lurk. Yeah, so they pick up Fishig and they are like, wow, Fuzz, hi Fuzz. They pick up Fishig and they're trying to figure out the mystery of what iClone was doing on this planet. And to do that, they track down the ship that brought iClone to that planet. And
Hubris is the name of the world.
Yeah, thank you. Oh my gosh, that's even in my notes. It's even right there. Yeah, and so they find out, oh, I forgot exactly how they find out that it was connected to the gloss, but they find out the word Pontius. And so Eisenhorn goes to his like walking Wikipedia named Amos, and he's like, yo, Amos. Wait, I have a picture of Amos. Yo, Amos.
What is this Pontiac?
Yeah, what is a Pontiac and what year should I get? And so Amos is, oh my god, I'm blanking so hard on all of these titles, but Amos is a savant, I believe they were called. So
yeah, a savant.
Yeah. So a lot of the Inquisitors have these people called savants that hang out with them, who are essentially like walking Wikipedias. The human equivalent of a computer. And so Eisenhorn went to his savant, Amos, and was like, hey, what is a Pontius? And Amos is like, oh, Pontius Glaw, one of the biggest heretics we've ever seen. And Pontius Glaw,
he dead though.
He long dead. And so everyone's like, okay, well, if he's dead, I bet his family is still full of heretics. And so they want to go to House Glaw, where House Glaw is this like big trading house who has a lot of power in some sector of the universe. And so they get on a ship and they trot along over to the next planet that we visit, Gudrun. And while they're on their way, they're about to like land down in Gudrun, and they get stopped by it is an Imperial ship, right? Or is it the local militia? Yeah, they get stopped by some official ship, and they're asked if they can get boarded, and they're like, yeah, of course, you guys are on our side. Why would we say no?
Oh, yeah. Before they go to Gudrun. That's right.
And
yep, it was the naval inspection team.
Yeah, that's it.
And Fishig knew something was up because he's like, all my stuff's up to date. I haven't been asked to be boarded in over 10 years. This is highly irregular. I want you there with me to Eisenhorn. And Eisenhorn's like, yeah, sure, whatever. But what's awesome is they actually do give you some insight into Eisenhorn's thought process of like, this is the Navy. They run, a literal tight ship. And then these guys come in and they're like
sloppy.
Very sloppy about it.
Sly, thank you for the follow.
And it just kind of sets off the alarm bells and we get another firefight.
Yeah, so Eisenhorn's standing there. It's like, this troop comes and boards, and Eisenhorn is basically like side-eyeing them the whole time. And it's like, that's not this. These are three midgets in a trench coat. This isn't the military.
Yeah, and he whips out his big fat Inquisitor Rosetta.
Yeah.
And is like, no, we're going to do this right. And they're like, what's your name? And as soon as he says their name, they just start shooting.
Yeah. Yeah, so he whips out his Inquisitor emblem thing, and they're like, so which Inquisitor are you? And he's like, I'm Gregor Eisenhorn, man of sex. And they just immediately start shooting at him. And it's another big dramatic fight.
Have you seen my Tinder profile? Here's me holding a fish.
Exactly. And so it's an immediate fire shootout. It's so fun. Everything's so dramatic. The shootout scenes were really well written. I always enjoyed it.
This shootout scene was really cool, very clever with how he used the dock as a weapon. Very smart. I liked that. That was good writing after a lot of not good writing. Lazy really is the best word for it.
Yeah.
I get it. I know Inquisitors are badasses and everything, but this was a little bit too much.
See, I have a thought on the writing style.
What's your Inquisitor name? I am Inquisitor Chad Thundercock or whatever.
Chad Thundercock. Look at him.
Yes, Duke Nukem.
The sigh. I have a very strong opinion on the writing style that I'll get to at the end. Because I think that really shaped my enjoyment of the book in a way that it maybe didn't shape yours. But yeah, so they fight off these baddies, and Eisenhorn, is like, all right, something is afoot. There's a man on the inside. Someone in the Navy is a traitor. And things get all
He also uses the voice from Dune.
Oh, yeah. Cruz! Oh my gosh, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome in, Raiders. How are you?
Yes, welcome aboard, Raiders.
Welcome aboard. Buckle up, we're talking books.
Yes.
We're talking books. Yeah, and so let's see here. What did they do? Oh yeah, and so they
go to Gudrun.
Yeah, and then they actually get to Gun Run.
Oh no, actually they talk with that admiral first, and they're like, "Hey,
Oh, yeah.
what's happening here?" And they're like, "Oh, we don't know." So it starts leading to like, "What's your clearance level?" Like, "Oh, I'm code purple." Like, we're supposed to know what the fuck that is.
Kane, thank you for the follow as well. No, it was so funny too, because like he basically, it just became like a dick measuring contest at one point where both sides were like, well, I have a higher clearance. No, I have a higher clearance. And then eventually Eisenhorn was
this is
like,
after the dick measuring contest with the entire planet.
yeah.
Which, like, 12,000 people died, and he's like, "You have my condolences. Suck my balls."
Oh my god, yeah, that was so fucking funny. So on the first planet, or the second planet they went to, where everyone was in a cryo sleep, so when the baddie siphoned the power off of that big freezer, it killed basically the entire ruling class of that planet. And when some of the citizens and when some of those citizens were upset about it, Eisenhorn basically gave them a shrug emoji and was like, sorry, dog, in the name of the Emperor, and like finger gunned his way out of there.
Sometimes it be like that way.
Yeah. And I was like, damn, all right. Only 12,000. Isn't that a regular Tuesday? Fair enough.
I mean, in the grand scheme, yes.
Yeah, but he had zero sympathy for them. He was just... He was like, I'm just doing my job. This is just my 9 to 5. Like, I don't know what you want me to say.
Yeah.
Gosh, yeah.
Don't fuck with me. That's all they said. It was like, you should be thanking me. He would have killed more. He's like, and they're just like shocked because like all their loved ones are dead.
Yeah.
He's just like, fuck you.
And they died in a very horrific fashion. Like the way it's described.
Oh yeah, like how they came out without like the medical treatment for their reawakening sickness or whatever.
And like as they were doing the gunfight, he says multiple times how he ran through just these people crawling out of their like sleep caskets, like screaming, bleeding from the orifices, begging for mercy. And he even,
like Walking Dead shit.
Yeah, and he even said, he was like, he stumbled across someone at one point and he had the thought to himself where he was like, should I end their life? Should I give them this mercy? And then it's like, no, and then walks away.
Yeah, it's like, should I hit them with my big inquisitorial rosette and kill them? Nope, you can suffer a little more. You'll die.
Yeah. Oh gosh, yeah. But so anyway, yeah, we have another dick measuring contest, and the moral of the story is like, the Navy admiral is like, I don't really know what's happening here. And Eisenhorn's like side-eyeing, like, you sure about that, buddy? And then they just kind of like let that go. And then... Yeah,
like, it's the last we hear of that.
Right? Like, I was like, okay. Like, I thought that was going to come back as like a plot point at some point.
The planet does give him the one guy who goes with them.
That's true.
Maxilla? Is that Maxilla?
Yeah. I think. Tobias Maxilla.
I think so too.
Yeah. Well, actually, I feel like we may have mixed up the characters, because Maxilla is the pilot of the ship, and he was a really cool like half automaton guy. Fishig is the one who comes from the admiral later, right?
No, Fishig is the one that owns the ship that they take.
I thought that was Maxilla. Because Fishig...
No, I think Maxilla is just the pilot.
Ah, well, they get both of them at some point, and it's great. Because
No, you're right. He was hired by Eisenhorn.
Yeah,
to pursue, and Fishig is...
Yeah, because Fishig is...
He's also some type of traitor.
Yeah, because Fishik was from the Navy, I thought, and he was only assigned to Eisenhorn briefly because later on, I think after Fishik gets hurt for the first time, Eisenhorn is like, oh, you can stay or you can go back to your original deployment, and Fishik is like, no, following you is a greater truth. And then stays with Eisenhorn. Oh well. Regardless, they get Fishik at some point.
I'm blending the characters in my mind.
All good. It was a long read. And then Tobias Maxilla is the pilot of a ship, and he's such an interesting character, and I hate this image, but it's the only official image that we have of him. Because he was someone that Eisenhorn described as being mostly mechanical. Like, he had replaced, I want to say 90% of his body with automaton parts. And
yeah, he doesn't like people.
Yeah, he doesn't like people. His entire crew was made up of, they had a special name for those guys.
Servitors,
yeah. So he basically just was...
Which is just lobotomized people.
Which was crazy, because when I was reading this, there was a lot that I had to Google along the way, and servitors were one of them, and I was like, oh, these are kind of a nifty thing, like humans just in a cool new body, and like, nope. Those humans aren't really humaning anymore. Crazy. Yeah, and so...
That's the fun thing. Everyone thinks they'd be like a space marine or an inquisitor, but most of us would just end up being a servitor.
Yeah. Certainly one way of dealing with criminals. Were they criminals? Were servitors criminals?
Among other things.
Wow, okay. That's crazy. Most are. Also high prototype. Yeah, and so they pick up all these people, and then they go down to Gudrun, and Eisenhorn is like, all right, kids, this is a stealth mission. We are gonna pretend to be merchants. We are going to blend in with the crowd.
Wheat merchants or whatever.
Yeah.
Slinging Xenos grain.
Gosh, yeah. And so they, oh, wait, yeah, that's right. Because originally they go to Gudrun because that's where the pilot who had iClone, they tracked this pilot to Gudrun, which also coincided with it being House Glaw's land. And,
yeah.
So they have this whole, silly little arc where Eisenhorn and Bequin are pretending to be merchants, and they schmooze up to this, to a couple different people, and then find this pilot. There's another crazy shootout, and this planet that they're on is having this big celebration because of the war efforts, right? There was a big draft, and the war was about to start, and a lot of the strapping young men of the planet had joined the army, and everyone was celebrating them going off and being the best army they could be.
Don't forget, they bring the whore with them and ask her to act like a whore, and she does it, and she does it well.
That's true. That's very true. And she's having the time of her life.
Because she is such a well-written character.
Stop. And yeah, it's so funny. In this shootout, Eisenhorn chases this random pilot through the city, through these big celebrations, through a big parade, and they just essentially just fuck up a whole city. They ruin the parade. There's big explosions. It's so funny.
And the guy he's chasing gets shot.
Yeah, not even by him, but by other people.
Good job, dude.
Yeah. And at one point, so after the guy they're chasing gets shot, falls in the river, we don't ever hear about him again. Eisenhorn just kind of turns himself around and is like, well, on to the next lead, I guess.
Yeah. Back to being grain merchants.
Yeah.
Hopefully no one noticed.
Right? And then it's round 2 of being super spies, and he and Beckwin once again pretend to be grain merchants, and they're cozying up to House Glaw, and in some like complicated trading way they do this. They like have to talk to some like sub house first, and it's so silly because I was sitting there reading all this and I'm like, damn dog, you really suck at this. Like like
Yeah.
like every time you've tried to be like someone else or done a sneak mission, you have really failed at it. And as I was thinking that, literally the next page, they're in a hotel and they're like, someone is about to break into our room. And I was like, see, you got caught already.
Yeah.
And the person who breaks into their room is actually, surprise, another Inquisitor. So in enters Inquisitor Vogue, who is absolutely not a man of sex. This guy is a gently alive corpse. He is old, wrinkly man.
I mean, so's the Emperor, but
Fair. I just love the way that Eisenhorn describes Vogue. At any opportunity, Eisenhorn is like, damn, this bitch is old.
yeah, it's just like making fun of him. And I think it's because he's mad because Vogue came in and pretty much fucked him up and his crew.
Yeah.
And was like, what are you doing, you idiot? You're ruining everything.
Exactly. It was so funny because Vogue came in, him and his very powerful henchmen, they came in, basically just fucked up Eisenhorn, his group, and Vogue was just like standing there being like a badass, and he was like, what the fuck are you doing here? And Eisenhorn was like, brother, I was on a lead.
Yeah. This is how I do things, brother. I don't use the crazy powers that we have. Because I don't know why, but I don't.
Yeah, it was so funny because
This part of the book is not well written, so we just have different styles, I guess.
so Vogue is a very, very traditional Inquisitor. He brings down the iron fists of the Inquisition at any chance that he can. He's basically, we are the hand of the Emperor. Suck it. And he uses his power,
Yeah.
I think, as, you know, an Inquisitor kind of should. And Eisenhorn has a very roundabout method that we discover in a lot of his adventures. And
He's like Sherlock Holmes, but he always gets caught.
yeah. And it's so funny, this standoff there, because it's another dick measuring contest. Except I think Eisenhorn kind of loses on this one. Because Vogue is like,
Yes,
sit down,
he loses
kid.
to Vogue's old massive dick.
I mean, listen, to sit on that chair, he has to have the biggest balls amongst them all.
He's actually just sitting on his balls.
Yeah, like there's no chair there, it's just balls.
Nope, just balls.
And I love Vogue as a character. I think he was so cool. Like, I love that kind of just like, you know, unbending, unwielding power that's backed up by just being very, very good. I thought he was great. And
So let's use this to break into my major issue with the first like 2/3 of this
oh
book.
shit, yeah.
And it's the lazy writing in that the universe is massive. There's so many interesting characters and people, and we don't get any of them. Everyone here is just boring as shit. Vogue is actually kind of interesting, but they only give us a tidbit of it. Fishig, we only hear about towards the end of the book. Same thing with with Maxilla. Like all these crazy trades and places he's done, we don't hear about until the end of the book. So it's just a slog of normal ass people for the first 2/3 of this, and it sucks.
That's so funny. Because I absolutely agree with that, but I had a much more positive take on that. Because I love the fact that this is being told from Eisenhorn's perspective, and that's just how he thinks of these people. And I think it's so funny because there is a shift at one point where I think and we'll get to when he kind of realizes that like this shit is, oh, guys, I lost her. Oh no, hello.
Where'd I go?
Okay, she's here.
I'm back.
She's back. Also, welcome in, Pingu Fetus.
That was interesting.
Yeah, that was funny.
That was a VTube studio having a moment.
Doesn't she always?
True.
But yeah, so like I think the first 2/3 of the book are kind of a slog because Eisenhorn thinks it's a slog. I think he is so full of himself up to that point that he just doesn't care about the people around him, and he doesn't care to describe them. Like, listening to the way he describes the people that he meets, he's just like, a man. A woman.
Yeah.
And it's so funny when that shifts later on, and then he starts to describe people as actually being people, and you get more details of them and the things that they do and the things that they contribute to, their thought processes, and him kind of seeing them as being more than just like tools to his own greatness. And I really enjoyed that perspective shift that he had. Because I do agree, at the beginning, he is...
Let me come back.
Yeah.
So, it's a trilogy. This book, in my opinion, should be all about world building. Like, who are these people? Why do I care? And I just don't care about any of them. It takes forever for me to care about any of them. For the direct comparison, I mentioned I was going to do this. If in the Horus Heresy trilogy, the book starts off with a raid on a planet, and you meet Loken, and he's racing against Abaddon, and they're both captains of this Space Marine chapter, and they fight this really interesting enemy, and just as one of them's going to die, boom, there's Horus, a goddamn Primarch, this like demigod, and he's described as being so amazing you can't even look at him because he's so perfect. And they just take that, and all of these characters they introduce are beautifully written, they're flavorful, they're unique, and it's just like, where is that in this?
That's so funny. What perspective is the Horus Heresy written from?
It's all over. Most of it is, in the first trilogy, is from one of the captains, Loken, but there's a lot of it told from Horus's point of view, from other people that are called remembrancers, from the other captains. Like, you get all of these different views, because there's so much going on, and it helps in not just being through that single set of eyes. It doesn't have the Twilight treatment where this is a bland character so you can self-insert yourself. This is a rich world, and I'm going to tell you a story.
Yeah, I think you nailed it on the head, right? Like, I think it's very, very obvious that Eisenhorn is meant to be essentially the ideal male power fantasy. And I think
he is Bella for men.
Yeah, like, you lose a lot of that deeper character building, I think, intentionally, because I think he is supposed to be, the man of sex. He's supposed to be the guy who, through his own wit, his own cunning, his own strength, saves the day, gets the woman, kind of thing.
Yeah, but he's not interested in women, apparently, so there's that.
Except he does get interested in Beckwin later. So I think this is actually one of the funniest things that he does, and actually why I started calling him the man of sex is because at first, when he first meets Beckwin, he's like, ugh, this harlot, this woman of the cloth, like, oh my god, all she does is like her jewels, her frivolity, do not like, but she's beautiful. But then later on, after she kind of falls into his ideal and starts training with weapons and hones her mind, as he says. And she falls into kind of like the proper inquisitorial role that he would like. He's like, oh shit, Beckwin kind of hot, Beckwin kind of interesting. And his entire tone towards
this
her
is after.
Yeah, I kind of jumped ahead in the story a little bit, but like that I think is exactly what Eisenhorn is, though, right? Like he only really cares about things that serve his purpose or fits his ideal, or falls into his box of things that he likes, and everything else in his world really doesn't matter to him. And so we don't get a lot of detail on things that are outside of what he wants to care about. It's great. See, like, I love unreliable narrators like that. I think it adds so much like fun to a story, because you just kind of like sit back and be like, all right, we just know that this guy is just telling us his like Moby Dick story.
Yeah. So for me, I prefer my unreliability to come from the characters and their flaws and them not being perfect, because that makes them infinitely more relatable. More than, gee, Eisenhorn's in a firefight, I wonder if he's going to win.
Win with all of his clothes on. One of my favorite things that he does in every single fight is somehow he loses his shirt and makes a point to tell us that.
Yeah.
Like every single fight. He's always like, oh, I look down at my ripped and bloodied abs that show through my shirt that happened to get torn open.
I could wash it on these abs once the battle is over.
Exactly. Yeah, truly the man of sex. Thank you, PC. You
but
understand.
I have to find the Pontiac first.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we kind of lost this tale. Yeah, so they accidentally kill this dude and they're like, ah, fuck. So then they have to go pretend to be merchants again. They're cozying up to the grain merchants, run into Voke, not a man of sex, but actually a man of sex. Would be probably more a man of sex.
He's just a man of big dick energy.
Yeah, exactly. And they have an Inquisitor dick measuring contest. Eisenhorn loses, but still somehow convinces Voke that his plan will work. And Voke is like, all right.
I think it's more Voke's like, you know what? Whatever, man. Let me know if it works.
Yeah. And he's like on standby the entire time with the backup plan. That ends up being the real plan. And so Eisenhorn, Beckwin Fishig, and one of Voke's henchmen, they end up going to House Glaw under the guise of being grain merchants. And while they're there, Eisenhorn is like, you know what would be so fun if I went sneaking around and try to find the secret of House Glaw, even though I know that this place is incredibly well fortified. There's spy cams everywhere. Don't worry, guys, I got this.
Yeah, it's okay. I have my Walkman and it has a Mission Impossible theme on repeat. It's cool.
Yeah. And so he literally just like straps up in spy gear, slips out the window, and is like Pink Panthering his way through this giant mansion, trying to find the secret that that he thinks House Glaw has. Yeah. And would you believe it? He gets caught.
No.
I know, amazing. Yes, Silverwolf, this is a Warhammer book. This is, we're talking about the Eisenhorn trilogy, a Warhammer 40k novels. Heh. Yeah, so he gets caught, surprise, surprise. No one is actually surprised. And as he's running from House Glaw, he stumbles across, dun dun dun, the Pontius. And he gets punched in and he gets punched in the face with a psychic force and gets knocked out and captured and tortured. And so he wakes up and he is like strapped in this like torture room. Agent Voodoo, hi, you are late. And this was your book too.
Missing your own book review. Wow.
So funny. I'm not used to early. I know. But listen, I got my East Coast baby here. Needed to be a little early. But yeah, so he gets captured and he's like strapped up in a torture chamber, once again shirtless, and he this man is literally shirtless at every opportunity. and
You should start calling him Eisenhorn Man of Shirts.
or Man of No Shirts. And so who is torturing him? So he is no Inquisitor, you will wear the shirt. That is the torture. And so he's being tortured.
We'll cover up those glistening pecs. No.
No, not the pecs. And he's being tortured by the leader of House Glaw, Ulrich? I don't know. His name doesn't really matter.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. By him and some dude named Gregor Locke. Is it Gregor? No, it's not Gregor. It's...
Ursel? Is that Ursel Glaw?
Oh, shit. We lost a turn.
Ursel? Something?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It starts with a U. Something like that. Oh, she's back. So he's being tortured by whatever toady of Glaw, and then some dude named Locke, and he's like, I'll never tell my secrets. And they're like, oh, well, what if we tortured you some? Hi, Barry.
And he's still like, no, I won't.
Yeah, he's like, no, I'm Eisenhorn. I'll never spill the secrets. And I don't think he actually does. I think he is able to withstand the torture, but he gets kind of fucked up along the way. In this torture, he loses the ability to smile. One of the torturers uses these like acupuncture needles, but like the evil kind, and goes after a lot of his like nervous system. And
he is now Eisenhorn McCain.
Yeah. And I always think it's so funny because he's like, he always, like, later after this happens, he's always like, man, if I could smile right now, I would be. It's so dramatic.
He says that, but he never smiled before, so I call bullshit.
No, that's so true. Like, he never, like, really was a smiler before, but then afterward, he loses the ability to smile. He suddenly...
I'm too edgy to smile. My name is Gregor.
Yeah.
Why is this shirt on me? Remove it from my body.
There's like 50% too much clothing on him at any moment. And, oh yeah. And also somewhere along the line, all of his companions got captured too, except for Fishig. The true man of sex, Fishig.
Yeah.
And so they're all thrown into a cell together, and they're like, oh no, we got caught. How did this happen?
And one guy's like, Eisenhorn, take these Advil. And he's like, I won't take the Advil.
Yeah.
Please take the Advil. No.
Yeah.
What is the point of this back and forth?
No, it was so pointless. Like, that someone is like, oh, Eisenhorn, here, this will, dull the pain. And he's like, no. No, I'm Eisenhorn. I don't need it. He's too manly for it, Tara.
Acetaminophen leads to chaos.
He can't give in. He can't give in to it. And so while they're there, they like wake up one day and Glaw is like, oh, you shall now be our entertainment. And so they, oh, Kaslana, thank you for stopping in. Don't worry if you can't stay long. And thank you for the hydrate waddles. Yeah, so then they get taken to this coliseum type thing where, all of these like rich people are in the stands and they're down on the floor and they're like, oh no, this is not gonna go well. And these like giant space lions get sent out to fight them. And there's yet another very fun fight scene where,
I
of
wonder
course,
how it's going to end.
yeah, where of course, once again, everyone else sucks. Eisenhorn's the only one who's on his feet. He takes down 2 of these big space lions, manages to release one into the crowds, of course. And of course, the space lion doesn't go after him anymore, but only targets the baddies.
No. And he's just left in the middle. Are you not entertained?
Yeah, no, he's left down in the center, still shirtless, basically being like, suck it, Claw. And right around that time,
Pretty
too,
much.
Fishig comes back in, and Fishig is just such a cool fucking dude. And actually the true hero of this little arc, because Fishig ended up not being caught when everyone else was caught after Eisenhorn blew their cover. And Fishig managed to send a signal and a message out to Vogue that was like, hey, we're in trouble. And
You were right. He sucks.
yeah, Fishig was like, you were so right. Eisenhorn got caught, and there's some baddies here. Help. And then Fishig also comes, and he is the reason that they were able to escape this Coliseum, because he's like hiding up in the rafters, shooting into the crowd. It's cool. Fishig's the winner here.
Yeah.
And chaos is being unleashed. Eisenhorn is like, oh, this is great. Meets up with Fishig, and Fishig is like, Vogue is on the way with the I think the admiral we met earlier.
Yeah, with Battlefleet Scaris.
Yeah, and they essentially just like drop bombs on House Claw. Oh, they called it Pacification 505. Where they just completely nuked the entire house. They took out everyone who was running away from the house. All of the ships that tried to evacuate, they just blew them up. It was crazy.
Fair.
It was what?
Fair.
And it was hilarious to me because after everything settled down and Eisenhorn was getting his wounds treated, Vogue came up to him and was just like, idiot. And Eisenhorn was like, but it all worked out, right? The most calm Inquisitor reaction. Yeah, and so after that, they were like, oh yeah, so after that happened, it became clear that, House Claw was definitely a heretic house, and there was a lot of like mischief going on there, even if we didn't know exactly what was going on yet. And it sparked unrest across the sector. There was rebellions and war, and everyone was just like not having a good time. And this made everyone think that there was actually something bigger going on in this whole scheme. They were like, oh, maybe it wasn't just House Claw. Maybe there's something bigger at work here. And so they noticed that some people had actually escaped the destruction. And in all of this chaos, that ship had met up with some of the Navy, actually, and an entire like squadron of them had all skedaddled off into who knows where and kind of used the cover up of all of these wars breaking out to slip away like that. And
yeah, they were chasing them.
And then they were all just poof, gone. And everyone was like, that's kind of weird, isn't it? And so, using some technology or other, they clued into, I think it was called like the space wake, the wake of the ships as they like not entered the warp. But
Oh
they
yeah,
did.
like
Yeah.
their warp wake or whatever.
Yeah.
They could tell where they were going.
And so they followed this warp into dun 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 the next arc of the book.
Yeah, but also they have the Pontiac.
Oh yeah, because they figured out what that was. Yeah, they like figured out that the Pontius was something. Like they still didn't know exactly what it was, but that it was like some evil vibe, right? Because they didn't figure out that it was him until they actually had it in their.
Well, they figure it out when they're in the warp. Remember, that's the first time he talks to them.
But they didn't have it yet. They picked up the Pontius after they go through the warp the first time, and when they're in the because they go to that weird like mining planet, and Eisenhorn manages
That's right.
to
Yep,
steal
and
it.
there's another planet after that. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so the first time they follow this space wake is to this like weird little sad frontier planet, where they, land in it, and they're like, oh, we gotta be super sneaky again. And they find this encampment where Glaw and everyone is hanging out, and they're mining some weird space tiles. Like as they're sneaking into this encampment, they run into these like ruins, and they describe them as having these like irregularly shaped tiles and weird architectural remains and stuff like that. And they find out that Glaw and company are like mining them. Crazy. They don't really know why. And they're treating these like poor people, these poor miners are like, man, they're not having a good time there. There's this one scene where who was it? The bad guy who tortured Eisenhorn basically just cuts one of these miners in half with a chainsaw. And I was like, damn, that's crazy. And on this planet, Eisenhorn, when does it happen? Oh no, first so they're just like, scouting out this like encampment, and they see a Chaos Space Marine. And so that was the first time I had ever heard of a Space Marine, or a Chaos Space Marine at that. And I was so confused because I was like, I thought the Space Marines were the good guys, and aren't we fighting for the Emperor, and they're called the Children of the Emperor, and like, but why is he the bad guy if he's a child of the Emperor? Because don't we like the Emperor? And I was
You just need to read these 54 books to understand what's going on.
Yeah, so I was like frantically Googling. I was like, who the fuck are these people? And so I figured out that he's the bad guy. And and so he what do they do? Oh yeah, and so they try to like steal some of the things from the encampment. Eisenhorn manages to find this like chest full of these artifacts and something, and he steals the chest, and everyone is like, oh my god, intruders. Once again, a stealth mission does not go well for him. And once again, there's a big like fight scene, and it ends with Eisenhorn and crew basically being on the like ramp of their ship trying to leave while the baddies are holding them at gunpoint. And this was such a fun moment because Eisenhorn thought he was being so fucking clever and was like, if we give you the artifacts back, you'll have to let us go.
And they're just like, bro, no.
Yeah, they're like, or what if we just shoot you?
Yeah.
And so they pull some like silly maneuvers and manage to get out of there. Um, and the thing that they end up stealing is actually the Pontius. Eisenhorn, in of course a main character moment in this like random tent that he stumbled into, happened to find the one thing they went in there to find. And he skedaddled with it.
And the whole time, everyone else is like, dude, let's go. But he's like, no, this is important. I know it is.
Yeah.
And of course you fucking do.
Right. Like everyone was
Well,
like...
this is after our favorite horror has a mental breakdown after seeing Mandragore.
Yeah, so they actually
and
get
this
caught.
Is lazy writing, because after this incident, she just becomes like this ultimate warrior overnight. And I'm like, okay, you went from this overly cute and bubbly and totally predictable to this
badass
warrior queen who's also
yeah.
totally predictable.
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, so they actually get caught because they were using Beckwin's, void powers essentially to avoid getting caught by any of the psychic scans, I guess. But then when Beckwin sees the Chaos Marine, she has essentially a mentee bee, a little mental breakdown, and runs away. And leaves Eisenhorn and crew exposed. And so they're immediately caught, and that launches, the shootout. And after that, and they all make it to safety, Beckwin kind of like goes through some character growth, let's say. Where the sigh. Yeah,
we'll call it lack of character growth.
Yeah, she essentially uses that as like a catalyst to become the thing that Eisenhorn wanted her to become.
Dream woman.
Yeah, exactly. Like she starts taking fighting lessons, and she realizes, that like, oh, there's like a mission, and she becomes dedicated to the mission.
She doesn't have any more of those pesky emotions like a female.
Yeah. She like, puts aside her like jewels and her frivolity and becomes essentially, where did that picture go? Essentially becomes this. Like went from being, this like harlot to being this. Which, it was fun. But I thought it was kind of sad too, because I was like, damn, I kind of liked her before.
Yeah, she turns into 40K Yennefer.
Yeah, actually. And so when they're back on the spaceship, they have Pontius, and they're like, all right, what do we do with this? And they go plug him into a computer, essentially. And it turns out that...
They jumpstart the Pontiac.
They jumpstart the Pontiac. And it turns out that the Pontius was actually the psyche of the heretic Pontius Glaw. No one saw that coming.
Yeah. Whoa.
It was like, whoa, his name is Pontius, and it is the Pontius? Crazy.
Yeah, from Glaw?
From Glaw? And so they're like, all right, Pontius, tell us what is going on. What are people doing? What is the bigger scheme? And he's like, why the fuck would I tell you guys?
Yeah, he's like, no.
Yeah, he's like,
I'm already dead.
Yeah, he's like, I'm already dead. I'm just a brain in a computer. Like, what do I have to lose? And
yeah.
And so, so this was so fun in this, because so they're following another like space wake during this time, because who was it? Someone escaped, and they were following it again. And during the like 20 weeks of travel, they were interrogating Pontius, and that's when Beckwin was becoming like, Beckwin 2.0. And Tauri, also hi. But yeah, I do know that they're making a TV series about this, and I'm so fucking excited for it. I hope it's good. And when Beckwin's, becoming Eisenhorn's dream girl, at some point when they're interrogating Pontius, Eisenhorn starts noticing things are off. He's like, oh, weird. Like, is this thing moved? Did someone come in here when I wasn't here? And I was like, oh, there's a traitor. And it culminates with Eisenhorn sneaking into the room and catching someone talking to Pontius when he's not there. And at first I was like, oh my god, Beckwin, she was so rattled by the space marine that she switched sides. I totally fell for it. I was because it turns out that she, in fact, was working for Eisenhorn the whole time, and they were just hoodwinking Pontius.
Yes. He said, whore, do your whore things. Even dead men are guided by their dicks.
But it was so funny because they essentially sent her in there to, like, woo him with her womanly ways, and it worked.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so funny because I was just like, damn, even when you're just a brain, men is men.
Yep.
And
another tally for lazy writing.
And so she was like, oh, Pontius, can you tell me what you're after? What is here? Can you tell me, big man? And he's like, yeah, dog, we're after the necrotech.
Yeah.
And it was so funny because
I was like, how about you make like Eisenhorn and lose your shirt?
Yeah. And so, they're like, the necrotech. And everyone knew what that was, and I did not know what this was. And so I had to skedaddle over to Google once again, because there is, as Tara mentioned earlier, a distinct lack of world building within this book that is, I think, my biggest criticism of it, because while it is very friendly to someone unfamiliar with the 40K universe, there's still a lot that it could have expanded upon to make it an easier introduction, because it was friendly in the sense that, like, you could get into it very easily, but there was like a lot of things that he just kind of glossed over as a narrator that I was like, that's cool, okay. I have Google is free.
Yeah.
Eisenhorn does expect you to have a passing familiarity. That's super true. But yeah, so I was like, oh, the necrotech, that's a bad thing. And everyone kind of just was like, oh shit, that is a bad thing. And so they were like, what did they do? Oh yeah, and so while they were following this thing, this space wake to their next location, which is why I was often surprised it's recommended as the first intro to 40K. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, is that like for a book needing that amount of like side Googling to understand it, I was like, damn, for this to be like the intro book that everyone talks about, I'm not so sure about that. So as I've been getting deeper into it, I have heard that, read, is that Horus Heresy might actually be a better intro, or what is it called? There was another series that I saw brought up a lot. It was the Gaunt's Ghost. I saw a lot as being a good intro series, but I digress. So they follow this space wake to their next location, and this is where things start to, I think, really pick up. It was at this next location that they go to that I was like, oh, this is where things turn, and this is actually the point where I couldn't put the book down. Because at this next location they go to just some heretic planet, don't think it even had a name. It was just some heretic sector, and in this space, they they find the big thing. They find out what is behind everything that's going on, and it's actually dun 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 a heretic species called the Saruthi. Oh, I just realized I didn't have a picture of the Saruthi. Wait, let me grab them. Hammer Saruthi. Burn the heretic. I sneak. So, the Saruthi don't have a canon appearance, and when I first save image, oh, rude. And so when I was first getting to this point, and they first get to this place, and they are like, oh, so they get to, oh my gosh, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. So they go to this planet, and in this planet, they like enter this weird subspace, and the subspace is like, they talk about how it's like disorienting to everyone. There's weird shapes, things don't add up. I think the phrase they use a lot is that the angles don't add up.
Yeah.
And everyone's kind of like losing their mind. They're like, this is not a good space to be in. And they didn't want to be here, and everything was like everyone was not having a good time. And then they eventually, when they're in this space, they find where Glaw and, oh my gosh, what is the name of the guy who tortured Eisenhorn? I keep forgetting. Whatever. So basically Glaw et al. So they're there, and bye Sly, thank you for stopping in though. And they're there, and Glaw and crew meet up with the Saruthi. And when the Saruthi are described first in this book, I just like could not figure out what they were supposed to look like. And I think that's kind of the point, because they are chaos beings. They were described as being like these gray blobs with no real head, but just kind of like a lump. They had 5 limbs, and each of these limbs ended in a hand, and in that hand they held a stick, and they essentially like used these sticks as like stilts and scuttled around. And I was sitting here reading this going like, what the fuck? And so I went to Google, and unfortunately I don't think there's a canon representation of a Saruthi, but I did find this fan art, which is kind of close. It has, I think, too many legs, because they're supposed to be these asymmetric things that disturb the mind. But I think this is as close as we can get. Wow, what do you think?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, they also talk about how they use their hands to make like a face that they talk with and stuff.
Yeah, that's
I don't know how that would work, but
yeah, later on, when they talk to the Saruthi are like, they like put down their sticks and then use their hands to make a mouth and then somehow talk through that. It's really weird. I don't know. I was like, damn, that's just some chaos thing. I'm not going to worry about it. Good night, Misty. Thank you so much for stopping in, baby. I appreciate it. But yeah, so they meet these guys. Eisenhorn is like, heretics. These are heretic creatures. We must kill the heretic creatures. And while they're there, everyone's like losing their mind because these things are just like there, and everyone's so disturbed by the land and this weird space they're in. And then Glaw and crew make a deal. They give the Saruthi some of their old artifacts that they found. Misty, thank you for the resub. Oh, it was Monarch. Monarch, thank you so much for gifting to Misty. I Appreciate you, Monarch. Yeah, so Glaw gives the Ceruthi some of their artifacts back, and the Ceruthi are like, dope, and they just slide over the Necrotech. The Necrotech. And everyone's losing their mind. They're like, oh, the Necrotech. And that launches them into...
Especially because they find out that when they got the Necrotech that it totally changed their civilization.
Yeah. That's such a good point. Because, like, we find out... I want to say, wasn't it... It was Maxilla, right, who tells us more about the Ceruthi, because he had actually been there before. I think it was from
Yeah,
him.
he was like early in his career.
Yeah.
And he said all the people that came back were just like
Deranged and
this
disturbed.
does not make sense.
Yeah. And we find out that the Ceruthi became so Ceruthi because their entire civilization had been corrupted by the Necrotech, and that they became a chaos race because of the book and the things that it had inside of it. And so when they gave the Necrotech to Glaw and the Chaos Marine, Eisenhorn and crew were like, we gotta stop them. And they once again battle. And it's once again a very Eisenhorn is a hero fight. In particular, this one's really great because Eisenhorn takes down the Chaos Marine all by himself. 1v1's a
Of
Chaos
course he does.
and kills him in a most spectacular fashion. He somehow makes him get on his knees. I think he takes out a leg or something like that. And then when this Chaos Marine is down, he just chops his head off with a big chainsaw.
Well, he distracted him with the Necrotech.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. He distracts him with the Necrotech. He bends down to get it, and then Eisenhorn is like, nope, and just chops his head off. And the Chaos Marine bursts into flames, and as his body is burning, Eisenhorn picks up the Necrotech and throws it into the fire of his body.
Yeah. He's like, well, we're done.
Like a true Chad. He's just like... He's like, yeah, I killed the Chaos Marine and got rid of the book. Done. Spudkip, you're so right. I bet the narration was super unbiased. Yeah, no, he totally told us the entire truth and nothing but the truth.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, would this man of sex ever lie? Would he ever tell us an untruth? No, he wouldn't. And so after that, they return back to safety. They leave the heretic sector, and they have this big Inquisitor meetup. So we have, because Eisenhorn is like, aw, shit, dog, there's a big bad happening. And he calls in all the big guns. And so they have this big Inquisitor meetup where
He calls in the Inquisitorial Fleet.
Yeah. And they call in a whole bunch of Inquisitors. There's a guy named Conrad who comes, his buddy Endor. And then we get the Lord Inquisitor Rorkin, who is another man of sex. Damn. I could not find a picture of him, otherwise I would show him to you guys, but he is cool. He is so very, very cool. And you can tell that Eisenhorn really, really likes him because of the description that we got. Because Eisenhorn has such a hard-on for this man. It was so funny. All these other people, Eisenhorn was like, and there's Conrad, essentially a heretic in his own right. There's Endor, my homie, love him. And then there's Rorkin. And he talks about Rorkin for half a page. about just like how cool he is, what he's done, how he commands the room with a single glance. And I was like, all right, Eisenhorn, sit down. We get it. And in this big Inquisitor meetup, they talk about how, everything that happened. And Conrad's like, but what about the necrotech? What did you do? And Eisenhorn was like, I burned it like a true Inquisitor. And it's so funny because Conrad gets really mad about that. And he's like, we can learn from it. We can learn from the necrotech. And everyone was like, ooh, that's not a good take, my dog.
Yeah. Well, someone else agreed with him too.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, someone else did agree. I don't think he was like ever really brought up again, but it was because there was like 5 or 6, right? That's some big heresy, my God. Yeah, and someone was like, yeah, the necrotech isn't a good thing, but we could learn from it, and it's better to have it than to destroy it. Whereas like Conrad was like, we should read it. Think of the truths we can learn. And then Rorkin is like, no. I agree with Eisenhorn. Eisenhorn is correct. Everyone should agree with Eisenhorn. And Eisenhorn was sitting there like, yes, yeah, no, I am the best, aren't I? So silly. And Waddles, yeah, there's a lot of men in this book. I think there was literally one woman who had a name. One single woman.
Yeah, I think so.
And she ended up just being like, who had a name? It was Beckwin. She, her, Beckwin. And she just ended up being Eisenhorn's dream girl. So that'll tell you that. And while they were, so after they had this big meetup and they were like, we need to do something about these heretics because Glaw got away once again. This Conrad Inquisitor actually stole one of Eisenhorn's prisoners, who was one of Glaw's like second in command, and he tortures him to death. like he tortures him to death, and Eisenhorn is like, bro, finders keepers, why did you do that? Because they wanted, because obviously they knew that this guy knew Glaw's next steps, and so they wanted to get info out of him, but then this Conrad dude fucked it all up, and so Eisenhorn was like, man, but they can talk to the dead, so easy peasy lemon squeezy, they set up a seance. Which, a quick aside, when going into Warhammer, I did not know that there was any form of magic. And I know they don't want to call it magic when the Inquisitors use it, but like I thought this was gonna be just like a pure sci-fi thing. Like I thought it was gonna be all, like tech and baddies and stuff like that. I didn't know there was gonna be like magic and gods and chaos and warp space and things like that. And so when the first time Eisenhorn had a seance and talked to the dead person on the very first planet that we talked to, I was like, what the fuck? And I was so surprised by it. And yeah, I know that what the Inquisitors use is different than like, the heretic magic. But come on, it's all magic.
Yeah, it's all from the same space.
Right. It's just what they call it, you know. And so they have this big seance where they talk to this dead dude, and it is Emperor of Mankind. Hello, I love your name. Welcome in. And they talk to this guy in the like purgatory, essentially. I don't know. Do you know what it's called in when they have that space before they go to like the true death? Did it have a name?
I don't know the name of it. They mentioned it in the second book of Horus, but I can't think of it.
Yeah, whatever. Doesn't matter. So they go and they talk to him in this like purgatory space, and they Miss Nickelfun, thank you for the follow. And while they're there, they kind of like, oh, and Jojo, thank you for the follow as well. And while they're there, this guy that they're talking to, he basically like stalls until a demon shows up.
Yeah.
And the demon was crazy. Oh, little chief, thank you for the hydrate. Wawa, you hydrate too.
Okay.
Yeah, and this demon shows up and it's crazy. And they actually bring the demon back with them into the church where they had this seance. And all of the, oh my gosh, what were they called? What was Loink called? Shoot. Because these guys were really cool. It was like, because there was like a certain type of person who could help people perform these seances.
Well, they were types of, like astropaths.
Astropath, that's it, thank you. Yeah, and all these astropaths died. Like, I don't think any of them survived this seance, and there was a whole bunch helping them out. And a lot of the astropaths died, and this demon was like super crazy, and they had to fight him out of there. It was rough. Eisenhorn got pretty fucked somewhere along the line.
Definitely lost his shirt.
Definitely lost his shirt. Absolutely lost his shirt, if not more clothing, who knows. But so they beat the demon out somehow. I actually forgot how they beat him out, but they beat the demon, yay. And then after that, everyone was like super hurt, and they, oh my gosh, yeah, in my notes I have seance moment, R.I.P. Loink. Yeah, Loink was Eisenhorn's personal astropath, and he died during it, and it was very sad. Even Eisenhorn was sad. Big moment for him.
He would frown if he could.
Real. Yeah, Fuzz, that's what they said. They said that all of the astropaths basically just like their brains melted when the demon came through. It's true, he said, I am sad. No, he did, I think, actually. I think what it was is like, so it took him a couple weeks to recover from this moment, and when he was finally told that Loink died, he was like lying in bed recovering, and he essentially was like, I closed my eyes and decided to move on.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which was a lot more of a reaction
like,
than anyone
that's
else
crazy, and went back to being himself.
Yeah. Yeah. And so what they were doing, oh my gosh, they actually learned something when they had this seance and they talked to this dude. So they learned that the Saruthi actually had a second copy of the Necrotech, and that's what Glaw was going to go get. And so everyone was like, God damn it. We gotta do this all over again. And so they follow another space wake to the final destination, the climax of the book. They go to another Saruthi planet, and but this time they come with everyone. They bring in a big fleet of the Inquisition. All of the Inquisitors that they met along the way came also to fight in this essentially a war. And for some reason, Eisenhorn is like, I will be a ground troop in this, which I didn't want to respect, but at the same time, I'm like, y'all are kind of supposed to be leaders. Like, shouldn't you stay back? I don't know. But he is the man of sex, so he had to be in the front line.
Yeah, someone has to tell us the story.
Someone had to be there. Yeah, so they get this big army together, and they go to this planet, and they are basically going in for total annihilation of this race and Glaw and the Necrotech. And they also, they get a contingent of Space Marines coming with them too. And somewhere along the way, Eisenhorn, of course, becomes besties with the Space Marines. I think he actually genuinely fist bumps one of them at one point.
The librarian who he really likes.
Yeah. He has good taste. Yeah, and he becomes besties with a couple Space Marines during the long flight. And so they finally get to this planet, and they send down the ground troops, one of which Eisenhorn is, and they go to this crazy Saruthi tower where space is weird, angles don't add up, and they're like, everyone's disoriented and crazy, there's multiple fights, this, that, and the other thing. And then finally they get to the end, and we find out, to the surprise of literally no one ever, that Inquisitor Conrad was a traitor. Dun dun dun.
No.
I know, never saw that one coming. Between the name,
never,
and him being like, why, we could learn so much from the Necrotech, why did you burn it? Never saw that one coming. Directed by M. Night Shyamalan. Yeah, and so...
But I also like how everyone's shocked when they get the second Necrotech, and they're like, shit, it's in Saruthi.
Yeah, wait, that was...
Yeah, was it going to be in English?
Yeah, that was so fucking funny. Yeah, so they get the second Necrotech, and everyone's like, oh no, it's written in the alien language of the native people who translated it. Whatever will we do? And
look, in the next room, there's a translator.
Yeah. And then in the seventh Deus Ex Machina moment that we have in this book, there is I have the Astralestia. Wawa does curse. It's great. And so there is conveniently a translating device for the Saruthi Necrotech that Eisenhorn gets his hands on, and that's the thing. So at this point in the story, Conrad has the Necrotech, the Saruthi one. Eisenhorn has the translator, and they're duking it out. They're like 1v1. Everything's crazy. Eisenhorn at one point kills Conrad. Oh yeah, doesn't a pillar fall on him? It's no, yeah, that's what happens. So he's fighting.
Well, this is after the girl saves the day.
Oh, right. Yeah, of course, Beckwin saves the day.
Because Eisenhorn is screwed because he's got him psychically locked, and then the world's least interesting character shows up, and her level of uninterestingness blocks all psychic abilities and frees him.
Yeah, so obviously Beckwin has to be useful at some point at the end, and so she saves Eisenhorn, and then Eisenhorn somehow gets a pillar to fall on Conrad. And as Conrad's like lying there crushed underneath this pillar, he like very heroically has this like really cool speech that he gives Conrad. I wonder if I can find it, because it was so funny. I was like, you're such an inquisitor. You may scroll.
Hits him with the Inquisitor shame.
No, he really does. Oh, I found it. Oh my gosh, here we go. Here we go. Gorgon Lock, in the eyes of the Holy Inquisition, you are thrice damned by action, association, and belief. I said, beginning the catechism of abolition. No, he whispers. As I completed the exclamation, I cut the mark of heresy into the flesh of his brow with the tip of my sword, and by the time I had finished, he was dead from his injuries. Incredible. So he kills him, and Eisenhorn has like 2 seconds of thinking that things are over when dun dun dun. Turns out there was an even bigger baddie there the whole time.
Oh no.
Oh no. So one of Locke's, I think it was Locke, whoever this guy was, one of his like henchmen is just like standing there, like Emoji Man standing there, and like Eisenhorn is like, what are you doing here? And then turns out that this guy is like this vessel for, he's a demon host. A demon host is what they called him. So he ended up being a demon host for someone named Cherubel? I have no idea how to pronounce that, honestly.
I can't remember.
Cherubel? Yeah, so he's a demon host.
At this point, I was just like, please be over.
But this was the coolest part. This was the big twist, the final reveal, where it was like, it wasn't Glaw.
What a twist.
It wasn't Glaw. It wasn't Conrad. It was actually, dun dun dun, Cherubel. And so Eisenhorn is like 1v1.
Just pieces out of there.
Yeah. Oh, so this is him. Look at that. That is an insane looking thing. And so Eisenhorn is 1v1ing this guy, but not really, because he's getting his ass handed to him, because this demon host is incredibly powerful. And but then at one point Eisenhorn is like about to die. The demon host is like, just give me the translator. And Eisenhorn is like, ha ha ha, I'd rather it die with me. And so he just crushes the translator. And the demon host is like, well, sucks, I guess. And literally just pieces out.
Yeah, see ya.
Like he doesn't try to take revenge. He doesn't do anything. He just like is like, okay, bye. He's
like, you're too small for me to carry about, and you're gonna die anyways.
Basically.
So I'm leaving.
Yeah, and then Eisenhorn's just like sitting there like, well, shit, I am gonna die because they're about to nuke this planet.
Yeah.
And but luckily his pilot comes and rescues him in the nick of time, and they like fly out of there as the bombs are dropping. And yeah, that's basically
Luke and his X-Wing are there too.
And what was that?
I said, and Luke in his X-Wing is there too.
Yeah. Like the way I was reading it,
Just
it was
that scene of coming away from the Death Star. That's all I see.
No, that was essentially exactly what I was picturing in my mind's eye. It was like everything was blowing up. They like emerge from the explosion like, wow. And the way they described terminating this planet was insane. They like dropped nukes, they dropped plagues, they dropped fire, they dropped everything and completely exterminated the entire planet.
I can't wait for you to read about Istvan 3.
shit. Which one is that in?
and go through what I've gone through.
Is that in Horus
That was
Heresy?
It is.
Oh, shit. Yeah, they called it the Exterminatus. You got it, Fuzz.
Yep, Exterminatus.
Oh, Natus. Yes. And so after that, they... Oh my gosh, my notes for that are so funny. Sanction Extremis Exterminatus, in parentheses, that shit cray. Indeed. That shit was cray. And that was kind of the end. So at the end there, Eisenhorn and crew kind of like take a vacation and get all their wounds healed. And Eisenhorn does some self-reflecting, and he's like, I will find the master of Cherubel, and I will take them down in the name of the Emperor. Bum bum bum. But okay, so something we haven't talked about that was a recurring thing throughout the entire novel was Eisenhorn always had these dreams of what he called the blank-eyed man. And the last paragraph of the book, he says that the blank-eyed man is still there watching him. And I'm assuming the blank-eyed man is going to be who is actually the big bad. But we don't really know. And so I think that's going to come in the next couple books. But yeah, that's kind of where it ends.
Yeah, it's like, okay, we've set up book 2. Please read it. And I'm just kind of like, no.
And meanwhile, I'm sitting here going like, I can't wait to be done with finals so I can read it. It's so funny.
I don't know. I mean, it got better towards the end, but I don't know. Like, it's going to be a hard press for me to want to read the other 2 after the first one.
I think that's super fair. And you can always just Wikipedia the synopsis and probably get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'll definitely be reading it.
51 other books to read, so.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess since we're here finally at this end of the synopsis of the book, Tara, what was your overall opinion of it?
It was a book. It wasn't very exciting or surprising, and I feel like it squandered what it could have been.
I think that's actually such a fair takeaway. I think if I didn't enjoy the literary trope of an unreliable narrator so much, that I would probably think the same about this book, because this is 100% written by Eisenhorn, man of sex, only cares about himself. And
for readers of the same.
Like, it very much is the male power fantasy novel blueprint. And that definitely does leave a lot to be desired from a character perspective, from a world building perspective, from really just a lot. But I honestly love shit like that, because it just makes it so fun. Like, you're just sitting around listening to some old geezer tell you the story of his triumphant youth, and you're like, all right, Grandpa, whatever you say.
Yeah, I'm glad you had such a fun time in high school football.
No, exactly. I was actually going to make that direct comparison. Like, even because you get that at the beginning of the book. Like, he is telling you this story when he's an old man. and you know that going into it, and he and like this is definitely like, you know, the thing that made his career, and he's telling you about where his peak.
Yeah.
And it's definitely, he's like he glosses over everything bad that happens to him, like any of his failings or shortcomings. He's just kind of like, yeah, and so anyway, I was shirtless though.
Yeah.
Like, I saved the day at the end, so what does it matter if we got caught at one point?
And I can't smile, but I wouldn't smile even if I could.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, also, thank you guys both for the hydrates. Yeah, so I think it was just so fun. I love unreliable narrators. They're literally one of my favorite literary conceits. Like, have you ever read Name of the Wind? I'm the best and
have
nothing
not.
bad happened. Exactly. So Name of
Yeah.
the Wind, I think, is the best example of an unreliable narrator you could ever get. And I've read those books like 5 times. But yeah, I think it's so fun. I also really, really loved the pacing. But this was also something I hated, as I love it in retrospect, but while I was reading it, holy shit, I was like, why the fuck did anyone recommend this book to me? Like, this is the most sloggiest slog of a slog I've ever had to slog through. But when I got to the end and it was suddenly like, bam, bam, smash, action, I was like, yeah! And I was like, the juxtaposition of Eisenhorn being like, oh god, look at this sneaking, these sad little side missions, blah 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 blah, to like suddenly it's war and we're the victors. It was so funny. So I really liked and disliked the pacing. I think I know you kept calling it lazy writing, but I wonder how much of this was intentional though. Because I like, definitely with the way that he described characters and built the characters around him, like especially Beckwin. Like, I think so much of that was intentional on Dan's part, because he wanted us to see how Eisenhorn saw these characters, which was essentially he didn't care about them. And so I think it was intentionally lazy. At least that's what my takeaway of it was.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it just doesn't work, because if he doesn't care about him, how am I supposed to care about him?
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I think I only cared about...
Especially if you want me to care about him for 2 more books.
Well, I actually wonder about that. I wonder how many of these characters are actually going to be recurring, because often they die. And I think Beckwin's like primed to leave him to start her own adventure. And, you know, everyone else in his crew is so transient that I just don't actually think they're going to be around for that long. So,
I honestly don't know.
yeah. Chambers says, it should be noted Abnett is used to writing way more overpowering characters. Normal humans are his norm. But this is not a normal human. This is man of sex.
And his mini shirts.
And his mini shirts. And I said it earlier this evening, but one of my biggest nitpicks of this book is the lack of world building and the lack of background knowledge. I like, Google was my best friend. Anytime I was reading this book, I was like phone out so I could Google on the fly. It was kind of rough. So actually, I'm curious, because Tara, you have a deeper understanding of the Warhammer universe. Did you know everything it was referencing, or did you have to Google anything along the way? Or
So I didn't know anything of like the Necrotook or stuff like that, or the whatever the Xenos race is called. But I also kind of let them be, because to me this was like a 40k noir.
that's actually such
So
a
I
good
was
way to
like,
say it.
I need the mystery. And I was expecting it to be revealed, and they kind of were, so.
Okay. I like that. Wow, one knows the ways of the Mechanicus. Yeah, so actually, what is the Mechanicus?
I do like my baby boys.
Yeah.
So there's a group of people called the Adepta Mechanicus. They are from Mars. They worship the machine god, which they believe the Emperor is / was the physical embodiment of.
Whoa.
Yeah, they're real interesting. Like, the Emperor doesn't believe in religion, but let the Mechanicum go because he knew how important they were. And it's just kind of like, I'll let it slide because I need you guys if I'm going to take over the galaxy.
That's crazy. Yeah, because I was just gonna say, like, from what I picked up so far is that, gods and things like that weren't exactly welcome, and so I was gonna ask if they were against the Emperor, but no. Heresy light.
No, I think he is like, he is the embodiment of their god. And yes, they pray to the machine spirits, like when their toaster is broken and then it starts working and stuff like that. They also have this really hilarious dry humor, because they're super logical about everything, but also like giant smartasses. Like, I love them so much.
That sounds fabulous. How would one learn more about the Mechanicus?
So there is a Mechanicus game on Steam. There is the Codex, which I have.
Yeah, you just got that, didn't you?
And I did. They'll probably be, if I make a tabletop army, it'll probably either be the Mechanicus, or I will make Lunar Wolves for Horus Heresy stuff.
And that's the sweatshirt you're wearing, right?
It is. Let me slide to the side.
Cute. Yeah.
I like my Lunar Wolves.
Yeah, okay. I'll add that game to my list of Warhammer things to check out. Because so far I have...
yeah, it's worth it.
Yeah, I'm gonna finish the Eisenhorn book series, and then I want to read the duology about Bequin, and then the Horus Heresy main trilogy, and then Gaunt's Ghosts, and then I was gonna play Space Marine. So I'm gonna add that to it.
Space Marine is really fun. I highly recommend the Horus Heresy trilogy.
Yeah.
Those books are incredible, and you get some of that grandeur that you're missing, that world building that you're missing. Like, there's so much of it in those books.
Yeah, it's so cool too, because actually Dan Abnett, the guy who wrote Eisenhorn, wrote the Horus Heresy books as well.
Yeah, which is weird.
Yeah.
Because I enjoy the Horus Heresy books so much more.
That's crazy. Yeah, I wonder what I'll think of it. And I wonder how much of it goes back to the narration style between them. And I wonder about who he thought the target audience would be too. Because I think Eisenhorn is very much targeted towards like a very specific male demographic.
Yeah.
Man, I Can't wait to
there's
read
not very actually there's at least a couple females in Horus Heresy, come to think of it.
it. I mean,
But I think it's only 2.
I was just gonna say, as long as it's 2, that's
There's
more
other
than this.
characters and there's stories told through their eyes too, so there is diversity.
Yeah, so it's just like a richer experience, it sounds like. Got it.
Yeah. And also I'd definitely recommend, if you're into audiobooks like I am, the audiobooks for Horus Heresy are great. Like, I was worried at first that the narrator was a little bit too dry, but it's like, oh no, this is the character. Like, this is just how he is. They like say, oh, he's too up and down, too straight by the book for like the first book. And it's like, oh, okay. And then he loosens up and the narration for him gets a little more like human. And the whole time, all the other characters are like super vivid and live. And it's just like really well done.
That sounds awesome. Yeah, I actually don't really listen to audiobooks because I use books and actually reading them as a way to take a break. And if I listen to an audiobook, I'm very much inclined to like do something while listening to it. So I usually read so that I actually have to like sit down and chill for once. But
yeah, I
you've
drive
honestly
too much, so that's when I picked up the audiobooks. So
that makes sense. I mean, you've honestly convinced me to give that one a shot, though.
yeah. So you at least need to get to book 2 and the scene with Horus and Malagurst, and you see this compassionate side of Horus that makes you feel so much for him and all of the Lunar Wolves and what they go through leading up to the Horus Heresy and what makes it hurt so much.
Damn, okay. Yeah, because I've seen you tweet about how you're reading through these, and I think it was something you tweeted either this morning or yesterday where you said that it hurt, and that's so interesting because, you know, Eisenhorn being my one and only exposure to Warhammer so far, I'm like, action, male power fantasy, rah! And to hear that there's actually like emotion, it's kind of...
Oh, big time. Like, so just to go a little bit into it, you have the 20/18 Primarchs, and the Emperor goes on his conquest of the galaxy and gets to a certain point, and eventually it gets to a point where he has to go back to Earth to do other stuff, and he appoints Horus War Master to carry on his conquest. And he does it for many reasons, because Horus is not just a skilled tactician, but he is a master-class politician. He knows how to utilize things other than just war, unlike so many of the other Primarchs. But also, and you see it, like, he cares for the people, and that really comes to show throughout the books, and then how it gets exploited by the forces of chaos to transform, like, how much he cares for those people into hate against the Emperor and feeling like he's abandoned them.
Whoa.
So.
Wow. I want to go read this immediately. Holy shit.
Like, I would highly recommend picking them up.
Wow.
Book 2 is very good for that deep plot building, and the third one is all action and getting these resolutions from the first 2 books.
Wow. Yeah, I think I just, had a warped perspective on what all media from Warhammer 40k would be like. I thought it would all just be, this kind of like crazy action-y stuff without a lot of deeper meaning to it. But damn, I cannot wait to read this now.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, because the Horus Heresy...
There's a cinematic trailer for like Horus Heresy, like the game and all that. That's 2 minutes, and like even in that, you can hear the strong emotions in Horus's voice and how it's like, "Father, you betrayed us."
Damn. Yeah, because the Horus Heresy is about essentially how the Emperor came to be Emperor, right?
No, it's about this treachery of Horus and his war against the Emperor.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, I think I saw somewhere because, like,
So,
when I was like halfway through Eisenhorn, I was like, well, how the fuck did the Emperor get to be Emperor? And I like Googled it, and someone's like, and some comment on, I think Goodreads was like, read the Horus Heresy. And I was like, okay, slay.
well, I mean, I still have like 50 more books to go, and I'm sure they talk about it more. But there's like the Age of Strife and the Golden Age of Technology, and
Thank you for the follow.
there's a whole bunch of stuff leading up to these points. So.
Ah, gotcha. Oh, Wawa, question. I'm sorry this turned into an interrogation of Wawa's experience with 40K, but I like listening to you talk. What is your favorite thing? Like favorite game, favorite book, favorite anything that you've experienced so far in Warhammer?
It's actually probably that scene between Horus and Malagurst. It's just
cool.
like in the audiobooks, it's like 5 minutes. It's like in the early chapters, but just this scene where Malagurst walks in and, you know, he's got this data slate that he's like, this is bullshit. Horus doesn't need this, you know, and he kind of sees Horus not just his dad, which he kind of is, but in the grandeur that he is. He's the War Master. But Horus is having these moments of doubts, and he's like sitting in the dark in the corner, you know, and like you get this huge swing of emotions from Horus of like, why are you hiding this from me? And like, do you think I can't handle this? And then straight away into, do you think I can handle this?
Oh.
And then going from that into, we will handle this together, all in like minutes. And there's also this outpouring of emotion from Malagurst when Horus shows this self-doubt, something he never thought he would see from not just a Primarch, but from his Primarch. You know, he's like, but you're the War Master. I would follow you into hell and back for cookies. You know, it's like,
damn.
It's just this incredible back and forth moment. And I'm like, this is amazing. I need more scenes like this with genuine emotion between these characters that I didn't even know existed.
Wow. Honestly,
and it's
even
like
just...
you can feel the love that he has for him. It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, even just you saying that, I was getting emotional. Like, damn. And I absolutely see how you could get such whiplash reading that and then going to the fucking like Duke Nukem story that is Eisenhorn.
Like, I don't care for these people. Like, are you kidding me?
Damn, that's so funny. Okay, yeah, because at first I was like, damn, Wawa really like tore this book a new one, but I fully understand where you're coming from. It's so funny.
It's from the same author, which is wild. It's like, how can you give me this and then give me that? It's like,
it's basically a chef who made you a like 8-course meal that's like 3 Michelin star worthy, and then also just slid you a Twinkie.
And then burned Pop-Tarts.
That's so fucking funny.
And like, and I need that like super rich world in my fantasy reading, you know? It's like, I need these superhuman characters to feel human so that I actually care. And it does such a great job of it. Even with the whole, oh no, this guy's actually just, he's a rod, you know, he's straight up and down. But then like his brothers start teasing him for it. And I'm like, oh, this makes so much more sense, especially when they start jumping around perspective and events. It's like, okay, Now I'm really starting to get these people.
Wow. Gotcha. I think Red Chamber has a really good comment about Eisenhorn, how it's alright in a vacuum, but the war fiction in 40K is just so well written on average that the lower quality really sticks out. Yeah. But
Yeah, I
I will.
think I may be going from best case to worst case scenario too, because like I think Horus Heresy is like peak of 40K fiction. Like just everything that I've seen and been exposed to tells me that too. It's like, no, this is, if you want lore, this is where you go.
Yeah, I will
And
defend.
that's why you have 50 something books on it.
Yeah, I will defend Eisenhorn and say that I don't think it's bad writing. I just think it's a difference in weight, you know? It's like, you know, you're not gonna look at your like like, you know, like Family Guy, right? Like I would call Eisenhorn maybe like a Family Guy-esque show, where then, you know, maybe Horus Heresy is something like what's an epic TV show?
Game of Thrones season 1 through 5.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like I think they're just different styles, and I don't think it's fair to maybe call it bad. I just think it's like, you know, the trash action fantasy versus the epic. Which
Yeah, and for me, it reminds me of so many books outside of Warhammer that I read that I disliked. I'm like, oh, here we go again.
Yeah, I think that's actually why people use it as an intro book, is that it does have that relatability. It is like, you know, any other action fantasy thing. Like when I was reading it, I was actually reminded of Duke Nukem, of Doom, of, you know, any of these sorry, any of these like just pure action fantasies, like and I think that is a good gateway into the Warhammer universe. But I think now that I'm hearing you talk more about the rest of it, maybe not representative of it.
Yeah.
Damn.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, I also will say, like, I am such a sucker for like the quote unquote trashier style of novels though. like I think it's because I have to do so much intellectual work at my job and with school that like sometimes it's so nice to just plug into like a stupid book and read it, you know?
Fair enough.
Like, damn, I have read some things that now I think you would probably really not like.
I'm picky about my coffee and my books.
No,
Those
you
are my
should be
two.
picky though. My girl's got taste. I like it, you know? I came back to Lady A saying she has read something that shouldn't be named. No, not shouldn't be named, although I have read plenty of that. But I was saying how I tend to like trash fiction a lot. Just because it's fun to just like sit back and enjoy a ride. And I think that's very valid. I don't think everything needs to be, you know, the Odyssey. But everything is good.
Katia stands.
I was just gonna say
I haven't gotten into the actual novels yet, but I know a lot about the story. And I've played like Battlefleet Gothic 2, so it's one of those after Horus that will be the next epic 40k journey I go down.
Oh, how much of Horus Heresy are you planning on?
All of it.
All right, I'll see you in 5 years.
I'll be done by the end of the year.
Really? There's like 50 plus
Yeah,
books.
I go through like probably about 2 books a week, easy.
Damn. All right.
I can have it on like in my headphones or something and do other things and still pick up the book.
That's super true. Man, you're gonna be the resident expert on the Horus Heresy.
At least for a little bit.
Wow. I wonder, is there like a 40K convention? We should go.
Oh, there's tons of like Warhammer fests. I don't know if there's like a big one.
Whoa. Good night, Fuzz. Thank you for stopping in. That's so cool. Wait, there's a Warhammer world? What is
Maybe
Warhammer?
that's the big convention. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But thank you, Fuzz. I'll take you up on that for sure. Yeah, cause like what Chambers said is that, and like what Asian Voodoo says, that like I know there's like the tabletop games and championships that happen, but I was wondering if there's like, you know, like a Warhammer convention. I'd go to it.
Like a fandom con, not just the games.
Yeah.
I'd be interested in that too. I mean, I'm interested in the games. I found some really cool like tabletop play videos that I watched some of, and I'm like, oh, this isn't as complicated as I want, and actually seems fun. But like, I'm still more for the lore, but I'm definitely interested in the tabletop too.
Yeah, I've watched a couple of, because Warhammer streams on Twitch, and you know, I've had it on in the background a couple times, and it's actually really engaging, and like you said, not quite as complicated as I thought it was gonna be. But I don't know if like I could ever invest in having my own army and actually like play it.
I mean, yeah, it's a lot of money.
But there is the simulator.
Yeah, oh god, I have that. It's called Battle Sector.
Battle Sector. Okay. Damn. Yeah, there's just
That's something we should definitely play against each other one day.
I was just gonna say we should play it sometime. Just 1v1 the noobs.
We are the noobs.
I'd be so down, honestly. Yeah, but I think I'm probably gonna be more like what you are. Just be, you know, more interested in the books and the video games and just like the world in general. Not so much the tabletop, even though I think it is very, very cool.
Yeah, I think the tabletop's gonna wind up being more of a I can watch this, and when it comes to models, like I may get like figures of my favorite characters.
Yeah, I was
like
thinking of that too.
A box of like Astartes from the Horus Heresy, and I'm like, I kind of want to get these done as lunar wolves just because I love them. And I'm waiting to find one of Malagur's because there's a official figure of him, and I'm like, I want him in a display case, you know, like how we have.
Yeah, like I found that Eisenhorn has a mini too, and I was like, oh, I really want that. I don't think I'd ever play, but like I want it because I love him.
Yeah.
Get it. Grimaldus and his retinue is always sold out online. Oh, might have to go venture into a real life game store.
Heresy.
Yeah, because like I remember back when I used to play Magic the Gathering a lot, I would go to a bunch of different game stores, and there would always
Bolt
be
the bird.
What is that?
Said Bolt the bird.
Bolt the bird. And in all the game stores, there would be, you know, the like Magic Gathering cases, and then right next to them would always be the Warhammer like mini display cases, and I'd be like, I want to know what this is, but it's too intimidating to ask. But now that I know, I want to go and see. I want to go see them. I want to go see what they have.
I just think it's funny that you played Magic too, because I did as well. So my
What colors did you
my
run?
celebrity tie-in is that Cedric Phillips of Star City Games fame and all that,
Yeah.
owns the Coalesced Apparel. We went to high school together.
Oh shit!
We
What?
went to the same game store. We both went to Ground Zero Comics in Strongsville, Ohio.
What? That's so cool. What?
Yeah, I'm a little older than him, but like I did know him at one point.
That is so cool. Damn.
So yeah, my first full release was Ice Age, to put a time frame on this.
Oh, I don't even know if I know that release.
It came after 4th edition.
Oh, I've seen a couple of these cards.
Yeah, back when you had Auntie and stuff.
Yeah. I was gonna say a lot of them aren't usable anymore. Or at least in like...
The only things that are like
Golden
duels from Alpha Beta.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I don't even know when I started playing, because I started playing because way once upon a time when I was a wee lass, my brother actually was like at a store with my mom, I think, and he saw the magic cards at the store and he wanted them, and then he needed someone to play with, and so he got a set for himself and a set for me. He came home and it was like, sister, play this with me. And I was like, yes, brother.
So for me, what it was,
So we just played those.
when I was younger, it was still called gifted classes and all that.
Whoa.
When I came up to Ohio, and went into the gifted class there, that was what all the kids were playing, so I started playing too.
That sounds so fun. Yeah, because I didn't have other people to play with actually until I got to college. Like it would just be me and my brother playing with like, I think actually the same like 2 decks for like 10 years. And then when I finally got to college, I like brought my deck with me because it was so precious to my heart. And at one point someone saw it and they were like, Magic the Gathering? And I was like, oh, you know what this is? And then I met a whole bunch of people who play, and you know, it being you know, a college town, of course there was a couple game stores there, and it was so fun to get into it and like actually get into it and have people to play with. But it did make it very sad when, you know, we all graduated and left, and now I no longer have people to play with. But it's fine because there was good memories.
I remember, say, my first tournament, I was in 5th grade, and it was at the public library there in Strongsville, and I made it to 2nd round where I lost to someone who was playing an actual deck with like a Juggernaut and all that, which was the meta at the time and all that. And I'm just like, I'll throw a lightning bolt at your face and hope I draw the other 3 and catch this fireball too.
That's so fun. But hey,
Yeah.
you like made it that far though. That's so cool.
Way back in the day.
Oh, wait. You know, oh my gosh. I was trying to remember the actual card that like I got once upon a time. And I thought I found it like, because you know how pre-built decks, when you buy them, they always come with like one super OP card.
Yeah. One chase rare.
Yeah. And the deck I got when I was, you know, a wee lass, it had one, and it was a dragon of some sort. And this is going to be really sad, but when I was in undergrad, that deck was actually stolen from me.
Oh no.
I know, and I have always been trying to find it, and so I was Googling, you know, just like random words put together to try to like remember what this dragon was called, and I thought I found it, but it's not actually it, so false alarm.
Was it Shivan Dragon?
No, think so. It was a red dragon.
Oh,
and
was it one of the Elder Dragons?
It might have been, because this would have been from like, early 2000s era. And all I remember is that the dragon
so that
was
actually
like,
would have been Elder Dragons then. They were 90s.
yeah, because like the dragon was like, I want to say it was like decaying and some of its ribs were showing, but I've like literally never been able to re-find it. And I hate that I can't remember the name of it, even after staring at it for so many years. Hellkite. We'll try.
Are you sure it wasn't black?
I'm like
Like
95% certain that it was a red. No, that's close. Because I want to say it was a bigger.
I tried.
I tried, you did try. Yeah, I don't know. I'll find it one day. And when that day comes, I will drop so much money to find it.
Yeah, I lost most of my stuff. My mom had a house fire when I was in Japan. So, and I lost my deck among other things.
Oh, damn. Oh, Daisho Milkers, thank you so much for the follow. Oh, that's actually so tragic.
It happens.
It does, but it can still be sad. But you know what? Hopefully you've been able to rebuild an even cooler deck.
I haven't gotten anything.
Oh, damn. Have you ever done any of the online Magic the Gathering? Or do you think you just like moved on?
I played a little bit, mostly with my younger brother, just to troll people. Like, we made a deck called Jerky Birds. It was like a blue-white control deck with all these birds that had these super annoying abilities.
That's so fucking
like,
funny.
We never won a game, but it was like we knew it was horrible to play against, and to us that was fun.
I love that. I mean, sometimes you just gotta troll.
Yeah.
Well, I also just realized the time, and we have definitely gone off on a tangent. Is there anything else you want to talk about for Eisenhorn, Man of Sex?
Oh, no. The only thing I could talk about all night is you.
Oh, shoot! Damn, that was really smooth. Oh my god. That was really smooth. I'm blushing. I actually don't know what to say now.
You're welcome, chat.
Book good. Book good. Astria recommend book. Tara do not recommend book. Actually, wait, would you recommend
Perfect
it?
synopsis.
Would you recommend it, or do you think not?
At this time, I'm gonna say no. There are better entries into 40k, and yeah, it's just. I'm sure I'll find a place when I'm like, okay, now it makes sense, but certainly not at my level or your level.
Got it. And you know what? I think that's super fair. Because I do, for as much as I did enjoy reading it, I can enjoy reading something while also acknowledging that it does have a lot of flaws to it. And so I think your analysis of it is very, very fair. The internet lied to me. Wait, Asian Voodoo, have you not read this? Did you just go on to Google and pick a Warhammer book? I did. Oh, okay.
Wow.
Damn. I love your faith in the internet. That's so funny. I started at the same time as you. Okay, well, you read it now. That's the really important part. Actually, Asian Voodoo, did you like it? Did you enjoy reading it? Because as the one who, it was fun. It was fun. Actually, I'm curious who else read it. Because I've been talking about this book for so long, and I was like, guys, we're gonna have a book club, read it. I wonder if anyone actually did read it.
I mean, I did.
True. You, me, and Asia Voodoo. That's 3. A win is a win. A win is a win. Eisenhorn is such a male power fantasy, and that's a trope that made me tired of mainstream anime. That's so fun. And see, I'm over here and I'm like, damn, I eat shit up like Solo Leveling, like it's candy. I love it. You've been talking about it as long as I've been here, lol. That's true, Spudkin. I promise the next one I read won't take this long. It's just, it got a little slow at one point, and it was really hard to read, but then it got good. I think I like
withhold my comments.
Yeah. Oh, wait, is Caiaphas Cain funny? Is it supposed to be funny?
I believe he's the hero of the Imperium as far as like normal mortal goes.
Whoa, okay.
Like, I recognize the name.
And that's all you need. I mean, better than me. When I was reading this book, man, I had to Google so much. I was just constantly Googling things. It was so funny. Cain is the guy who doesn't want to be a hero but stumbles into heroics. I love that.
It's the Horatio Hornblower of 40K.
Now I can send you all the Warhammer memes I've been sitting on. Please do. Because I do definitely really love the universe, and I have so many questions that need to be answered. And I think the answer to those questions will lie in more books and more games. And I'm so excited to actually play a game of it too. I think Space Marine sounds really fun. I love me a good hack and slash.
Space Marine's great.
Yeah. Are you excited for Space Marine 2?
It is the top of my wish list.
Wow.
I will be playing that day one. I will pre-order it. I will do everything.
I'll be there. I'll try to watch it. Because it's coming out very soon, isn't it?
September.
Oh.
I want to say September 9th. Or September 12th. Let me look.
I thought it was much sooner than that.
It's like the Monday after I have a con. September 9th. Yep.
Oh, wow. Okay. It got delayed to December. Yeah, okay. Maybe. Oh my gosh, maybe I'll have time to finish Space Marine 1 before then, though. Although at the rate I play games, it might not actually make it. The Codex Astartes does not support this action. Wait, so is the Astartes and the Mechanicus and the Space Marines, Astartes, sorry. Gomen, sorry.
Yep, they are Space Marines.
Oh, okay. So the Astartes are Space Marines. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Are they enemies of the Mechanicus? Or are they all...
No.
Okay. Are they homies?
So the Mechanicus very much does their own thing, but often there are members of the Mechanicus. Well, there are lots of members of the Mechanicus within, like, an Astartes Legion that they run all the tech in the human universe.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
They are homies in that they appreciate the Mechanicus making their war toys.
Yeah,
Fair
pretty
enough.
much. Like, there's some videos of like Space Marines getting dressed, and you see all the Mechanicus members that are the ones putting on their armor and stuff like that.
Cool. Okay, gotcha. Man, I need to know more. I need to know more. Yeah.
And that's the rabbit hole.
No, it really, really is. Because, like, man, I did not actually. So I have to be super honest. I usually do not like sci fi. Sci fi as a genre is just usually not my shtick. Like, I find it to be just not appealing to what my interests are. And so when Warhammer was first recommended to me through this book redeem, I was honestly not super looking forward to it. Like, there's a streamer I watch a lot who, has been getting into the Warhammer world, and, I watch her a lot. And so by osmosis, I was getting into it. And I was like, oh, this is really interesting, but maybe something I'd only like
Melody, no.
through osmosis like that. But then, when it actually got recommended to me and I actually had to read it, I was like, I don't think I want to. And then when I started reading it, I was like, oh no, it's good. Oh no, it's good, and I like it, and I want to know more.
Oh no.
Yeah, I was like, another interest. Fuck. And like, it's such an expansive universe that I like. It's honestly a little overwhelming trying to get into it, because there's just so much going on, and I don't know if I could ever know everything. But I want to. But I want to.
I mean, it'll be a journey.
But yeah, I think that's all my thoughts on it. Do you have anything else, or?
Nope, it is 1 a.m. and it seems like a good time to be quitting time.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, oopsie, I kept you up too late. I'm so sorry. Thank you for the
alright, you get a
hydrate.
pass.
But I just want to say thank you so much for doing this with me, Tara. Like, I love getting to spend time with you, and I love hearing your opinion on things. And when, the time came to actually do this book club review, I was like, I want Tara to be there so bad. And honestly, I was going to ask you if you could be here even if you didn't read it, just so, we could talk about Warhammer together. But the fact that you went out of your way to read this book for me and made the time to be here tonight, I want to cry. I'm just really grateful, and I'm happy that we did this. So thank you.
You're more than welcome, dear.
Yeah, okay. Now go away before I actually cry.
Okay. Good night, chat.
Good night, Tara. Thank you for everything.
Bye-bye.
Bye. She's gone. She's gone. She's gone. Really, I wanted her to leave because I realized that it was 1 a.m. for her, and it is a Monday, and I didn't want to keep her up for too much longer. But now that she's actually gone, I'm sad. I'm sad. Tara, come back. But thank you for the hug. But I hope you guys had fun tonight. It's midnight here, so I can relate. I'm out here keeping everyone up past their bedtime. But yeah, I hope you guys had fun. I had so much fun tonight. Like I said, I was really nervous reading this book at first because I was like, oh, fuck. I don't think I'm gonna like this. And then I'm gonna have to sit here and do a book review stream where I'm like, God, this book sucked. But I ended up loving it, and I did think it was so funny at first when I told Tara to read this, and she came back to me and was like, did not like, not good. And I was like, oh, wow, but I loved it. And I actually held off on asking her more about her opinions on it, because I wanted to save that for this stream so we could talk about it with you guys. And it ended up being even more fun than I thought it would be. So Asian Voodoo, thank you so much for the book redeem. Thank you so much for asking for this book in particular. I think it is a good intro to Warhammer, even if there could be a better intro. But it did certainly work on me, and I am in it. Like I've already bought more books, and I bought Space Marine, and I bought the Eisenhorn mini. And like I'm out here in my spare time reading the wiki, trying to learn more. I'm watching all of like Bricky's videos, and I'm like, God damn it. Why can't I get into small things? Why is everything I'm into so big? Oh, that sounded bad, but you know what I mean. I had nightmares you would come back and hate it. LOL. Yeah, can you imagine if you like recommended me a book and I come back and I'm just like, wow, I hated this book. Okay, end stream. Oh no, pressure to you. No. But what I meant is like big media franchises. Like my favorite media franchises are like the Honkai universe, Fate Grand Order, all of Fate, the Tales series, and now Warhammer. Like stop. End me. Man of Sex is a great description of our protagonist. No, okay, so listen. I fucking love male power fantasies. Like they are just such a fun little read or game or show or whatever. Like give me someone who, like, look at this fucker, look at him, look at this is a man of sex. This like like give me the narrator who stands there and is like, I'm the coolest fucking person who's ever lived. I did everything right and nothing wrong ever, and I'm gonna tell you how I saved the world, totally me, all by myself, and I got the girl along the way. Like, I love that shit. It's so silly, it's so fun, and obviously you have to go into that expecting that though. Like, you can't be, like, you will have a bad time if you're expecting more from it. Demon Kulaba book, hated it, goodbye, understandable. And 40K is probably one of the few franchises that still plays male power fantasies, right? I agree, and I think that's fine. Like, male power fantasies are fucking fun. And going into this book, I really didn't think it would be fun. I thought it was gonna be like space, death, awful, and it ended up just being fun because like he's just a badass doing badass things, telling the story of his biggest triumph. Incredible. I just realized he's a Warhammer version of Gilderoy Lockhart from Harry Potter. Real! No, that's exactly what it is. Like, he's only telling us the good parts. He's exaggerating everything he did because he is Gregor Eisenhorn, the man of sex. Who would, of course, never touch a woman because his body is for the Emperor. I can do male power fantasy if it's super campy, like old Schwarzenegger movies. Yeah, I actually think Eisenhorn was campy. I think it could have been campier, and I really hope if they do make this into a TV show that they lean into it. Like, I hope they go full, like, hi baby. Like, I hope they go full male power fantasy on it. Like, obviously that'll isolate some viewers, but I think that's what it deserves. Also, the fun part is you'll have a guy on YouTube that goes and cosplays with the armor and recreates the chain sword and bolter, because why not? Yeah, like, do it. Morning all, time for sleep. Hi, Lone Wolf. Thank you for stopping in, and good night. What the fans want versus the new fans who have no idea what's going on. Yeah. And I'm worried they're going to do that thing that a lot of recent shows and movies have done where they try to, play into the wider audience. And I'm like, please, just keep it. Just keep it that silly male power fantasy. What I am really, really looking forward to is reading Beckwin's story, though. Because I think she is a very, very interesting character who has a lot of nuance that was absolutely not explored in these books. And I can't wait to read about her perspective and her journey and what she does beyond Eisenhorn. Because like I told Tara earlier, like, I think a lot of the characters in this book are being set up to leave Eisenhorn. Like, I think he is a lone wolf in a lot of his stories, and I don't think these people that we meet along the way are gonna stick with him, and I think that's partially why we don't learn about them further, because I think they're gonna go do their own thing, because Eisenhorn is about Eisenhorn, and he is all about himself. Like, damn, I really wish I could read more quotes to you about how prideful this man is. It's perfect. He's like, I'm the best, I'm the coolest, I never do anything wrong. And look at my abs. Like, listen, the amount of times this man gets shirtless in this book and has to tell you, like, this, he's telling his own story. There is no need for him to be like, oh, and then they tore open my shirt. My shirt was once again flown off my body. Like, he did that so that he could be that perfect male, like, protag, right? Like, who can be the man of sex, the protag of our male power fantasy if you don't have the Schwarzenegger body, you know? Ugh. Perfect. He's perfect. Astros. Astros. Maybe Astros will be my Warhammer name. Eisenhorn is famous enough that people in the fandom will know exactly what you mean these days. Fair enough. Fair enough. I do love him. Like, I love him. I think he's such a silly man. And thank you for the hydrate snake. But yeah, so my next stream, I will be turning on the book Redeem. It's been on pause for about 3 months. Haha. And so, you know, the next one will be up for grabs. So curious to see what the next rec is gonna be. Hopefully I get it out a bit sooner than this one. And I do really hope that you guys had fun tonight. Because it's gonna be it's gonna be a good one next time, I too. Cosplay of Eisenhorn art win. No, I want to so bad. I really want to get an art of myself as Eisenhorn. But then I've also seen really pretty art of the Sisters of Battle, but I don't know enough about them yet to get art of that. And so I want to learn more about them, but I think I like their aesthetics a bit more. It's been good, even if I keep reflexively writing Austria. I'm not the country. But I'm so happy you had fun, because I really, really did. If you haven't caught on, I really like books, and I like talking about books, and I could talk about books until I die. Because I think they're just so fun. But I do think, I do think the time has come for me to end stream. Astria with the short bob hair. Yeah. Wouldn't that be so cute? It'd be so different. And Eric, for sure, was different. First time me being in a book club related activity. Oh, really? Did you like it though? And Funs, hi Funs. I don't know if I said hi to you yet, but welcome in. Thanks for the stream. It was fun. No, thank you for being here. Like, I really, truly, fully appreciate you guys being here. Like, I know this isn't, the typical content or like, the typical game, but wasn't it fun? Wasn't it fun? I had a good time. I'll be on the Cardi after this. I'll say hi to you. Thank you, Chamber. I know, I was just looking to see what homies were online that we could go raid. I'll probably go say hi to Cordia too at some point. Yeah, because I would say we could go explore the depths of just chatting to try to find someone new, but that's just chatting scary, man. Just chatting is scary. So I see. Okay, chat. I'll ask you guys. Do you want to go watch Nikkei, or do you want to watch Helldivers? Ooh. There's also Azure Lane. Goosey, is anyone playing Azure Lane right now? I check that. I don't remember. Oh wait. Nope. Yeah, damn. No one is playing. RIP. Alright, well. You know what? I'm gonna just pick Cordy, because when in doubt, let's go raid Cordy. When in doubt, Cordy's always a good option. Good night, Eric. Hi, Panda. How are you? Rain. We're doing our part. I'm doing my part. You've been lurking. Aw, thank you. Raid. Sub raid. Have a good night, though. Thank you, Panda. I hope you do too. Here's some cute raid messages. Copy those for when the time is upon us. But yeah, tonight was an absolute blast, and I'm really looking forward to the next one. So whoever has a book redeem on their horizon, make it a good one. I hope it's a good one. But I also really love this redeem because it's like, I don't think I ever would have picked up this book without this redeem. And so it's really nice that, exposure to new things. I love that shit. It's great. But yeah, so thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart, and I'll see you next time. Oh yeah, next time. Hi baby. Next time is going to be Tuesday, and that's going to be the last stream before I have to take a week off for finals. And I'll post about that in Discord and Twitter too, so don't worry. But I will see you guys there. Bye.